Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
Everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us here on the 419th episode of Crime and Sports. We are pushing far and wide, and we are going to start a bit of a series today. Again, we're going to do a multi-parter here, and this was one that I didn't realize the story was so deep. I'd never seen the movie, to be honest with you. And
there's a movie.
There's a movie, a song, everything, and I had never seen the movie. And basically what I knew about this man was from brief news things, and a Bob Dylan song. So, yeah, we'll talk all about it. Before we get to that, though, shutupandgivememurder.com's everything you could ever want in terms of anything, merchandise or tickets or anything for Crime and Sports, Small Town Murder, your stupid opinions, which you should also be listening to. It's all right there. So check out that, shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, Patreon. If you listen to everything, it's not enough. We have more for you on Patreon. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all of the bonus material. So much stuff here. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get hundreds of back episodes immediately upon subscription, and then you're going to get new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and damn it, we want you to have it all. We're not breaking apart that stuff. It's all there. This week, what you're going to get, a lot of fun stuff. For Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about some of the worst teams of all time.
Okay.
Worst seasons, most inept teams, which is I love failure. It's my favorite subject to talk about. It just breeds so much comedy, and I love it. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about some of the weirdest points of the whole Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell mess.
Boy, is there a lot.
This is one of the weirdest stories that I've ever heard, literally. Yeah. I mean, her insanity with the whole, her made-up religious structure and then
just took a right turn.
Her weirdo open micer brother, micer comic brother. The whole thing is so weird. We can't wait to talk about it. And Chad Daybell saying he's shooting raccoons when he's burying children. Disgusting. So we'll talk all about that. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show. Bet. Jimmy will certainly mispronounce your name while wanting desperately to get it correct. So that's how that works. Now let's get into this with some very interesting stuff. This week it is the Hurricane, Rubin Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Ving Rhames played him in a movie, which was
was it Ving Rhames?
I think it was Ving Rhames that played Hurricane. I'm 90%. It was
fucking Denzel, wasn't it?
I think it was Ving Rhames that played Hurricane.
Who the fuck did Denzel play?
Not Hurricane, I think.
Are you sure?
I'm looking it up right now. So let's get this. I thought it was Ving Rhames. I could be completely.
I'm pretty sure it's Denzel.
It
I
is
saw
19. It is Denzel. I'm totally wrong. You're totally right. It is him. Who the hell did Ving Rhames play?
Ving Rhames played
I'm seeing
Diamond
him.
Dog in Con Air.
No, I'm seeing Ving Rhames as a fucking boxer.
No, it was
so.
definitely Denzel.
I never saw Hurricane, so that's why I didn't know that. I've never seen this movie.
And you know, when they win like awards and stuff, I mean, granted, they put one of the best actors of all time in there, so it's you're gonna get acting out of the movie.
Well,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? It's more of a showcase of him being that like Ali with Will Smith, but this one was so much better because it's a guy. It's Denzel being an actual. So the storyline doesn't matter as much as how great he is at being somebody else.
He's great. Okay, Ving Rhames played a boxer in Undisputed. I saw that movie.
Okay.
It's not. It's him and Wesley Snipes.
That's a way worse.
It's not. They're like in a prison boxing. But I remembered. See what I mean? Boxing in a prison.
In prison.
Boxing in a prison. So
right.
that's where I got my mix up. But I'd never seen the Hurricane, and I've seen this piece of shit though, rather than the one with an Academy Award actor that's really good and everything.
And I'm pretty sure he won awards for that, too.
I think he did. I think he did. So that's how little I've seen the Hurricane movie, basically. But it's Rubin Carter.
It makes you very
is his name.
sympathetic because anytime like Denzel looks sad, like you feel sad.
Yeah. No, Denzel can make anything sympathetic. He can because he's a good fucking actor.
Yeah, he's great.
And as Chuck Norris once said, he's the best actor in the world because his eyebrows never move. I swear to God. I was reading this book, and they had a quote from Jessica. The weirdest thing, I think we talked about it on Small Town Murder, but there was a quote from Jessica Simpson saying she went to Chuck Norris's acting class when she was a kid, and Chuck Norris told her she moved her eyebrows around too much and scotch taped her eyebrows so they wouldn't go up and down.
Stop moving them.
And said, you know who the best actor in the world is? And she said, no. And he said, Denzel Washington. Do you know why? And she said, no. And he said, because he never moves his eyebrows. So Jessica Simpson says she's never been able to enjoy a Denzel Washington movie since she was a child because all she's doing is staring at his eyebrows, waiting for them to move. So she has no idea what he's doing, how he's performing, what he's saying, can't follow the movie. He's just, is he going to move his eyebrows? So everybody now
got nothing on me.
Enjoy never paying attention to another Denzel Washington movie as you watch his eyebrows not move.
That's so funny.
But that's good acting, apparently.
Perhaps that's
He's a great
Botox,
actor.
Chuck.
No, but it's from this when he was young, though, not pre-Botox, because this was in like the early 90s he said that. So, I don't think he had Botox when he was 28, probably. I would
imagine
hope not.
they were doing it, but who knows? I don't know.
He's good at moving his eyes with keeping his eyebrows straight, which is apparently.
I don't think he needs much chemicals. He looks fantastic.
No, he's doing great. So, our guy, though, Rubin the Hurricane Carter, Rubin with an I, by the way.
Right.
Not with the E. He's born May 6th, 1937.
Good Christ, really?
An old guy, which is, you don't picture him as that because picture him as like a young
Denzel's
guy.
so young.
Yep, and you picture him as a young guy in like the 70s because that's when the song came out and all that shit. So he's born in Clifton, New Jersey. He's got parents, obviously. People birthed him. His mother's name is Bertha. She's from Georgia.
Really?
She's born in Georgia, but now lives in New Jersey. Well, then anyway, not now. She's long dead, I'm sure. And
I
then
hope so. The poor thing would be in such
she'd
bad
be
shape.
110 years old. I mean, hats off to her if she made it. This Bertha, are you out there?
You okay?
And then his father's name is Lloyd Carter. And his father, interesting guy, his father. A lot of energy, let's just say.
Really?
He had plenty of energy to not only pump out 7 kids, 4 girls and 3 boys, but he worked in a factory and was also had small businesses on the side that he ran, and he beat the shit out of all the kids at once. So that's a lot. It's a lot of action to put in. It's a lot of work. He's got a lot of energy, this guy. You got to wake up at 5 just to have time. It's like if I get up at 6, there's no time to beat the kids. At the end of the day, I'll run out of time. So he gets up at 5. I guess he ran an ice delivery business when Rubin was small, and then he'll have more businesses we'll talk about. Rubin we'll talk about too. He's going to have some couple of marriages. May Thelma is one marriage. I think Thelma May would be a more rolls off the tongue a little better. Rolls off. He's got a dyslexic mother. This poor lady has a dyslexic mother. May Thelma. That's it. You should see her brother though, Joe Bobby, which is a tough one. It's different. And then Lisa Peters he marries, too. He's got a couple of kids. No juniors, though. He's got a Theodora and a Raheem as his kids. Now, Rubin is the fourth of 7 children. Mm-hmm. He's born, he's born, like we said, but he lives in Delawana, New Jersey. And his family's pretty middle class because his dad works his fucking ass off. He works in a factory. He's got shit on the side. Apparently, also, it's like a racially mixed neighborhood. Okay. Because that used to exist in the 30s still. Yeah. And his father owned a bunch of little small businesses. And his father, in addition to beating the shit out of all the kids, working in a factory, running an ice business and several other small businesses, he's also a deacon in the local Baptist church.
Yeah.
He's got all sorts of fucking time, man.
So he's raising him in the Northeast, a very southern way, it sounds.
Yeah, New Jersey Baptist, which is, we do small-town murder stats. Religion, exist. It's usually in the South, Baptist is, 60% of the population, but in the North it'll be like 1% or 2% or something. Now, Rubin had a speech impediment. Oh. He had a bit of a stammer growing up. And he said, when I stammered, the kids in class laughed. Mm-hmm. When they snickered, I hit them. That's how Rubin reacted to it. So, I mean...
Man, fuck you.
Fuck you, pow. Which...
3rd grade, just drilling people.
Will get people to... stop doing that shit. That's one thing.
It'll certainly make them think twice.
Kids are like animals, and they learn the closest. They learn the straightest route. You know what I mean? They're not going around. They're going as the bird flies and as the crow flies. So if someone's making fun of you, you can stop them by punching that person. Problem solved. It's pouring water on a fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's out. So he said, they put me in a school for what they called incorrigibles. Oh. Bad kid school back then.
Horny old ladies.
Yeah. And he said that frustrated him even more, pissed him off even more.
Yeah.
And he was definitely not going down the wrong path. He said he was heading up a little gang when he was a kid already.
Oh.
Being the toughest kid. He was, the older kids didn't want to tangle with him. Because he was such a fucking fierce fighter. And he's not a big guy. He's like 5'7" when he grows up, too. 5'8".
Really?
He's never a big guy. He's a middleweight. He's, which is like 160 pounds. So he's not like...
They made it seem like he was he's going to fight Ali.
Well, Denzel's a bigger guy than that. That's why.
Big fella.
Denzel looks a lot more formidable than the actual Hurricane. But this guy apparently didn't matter because he knew how to fight and he knew how to throw hands, and that was what you needed to do in, the 40s. In the early 50s, it was all about hands throwing. And he says that, quote, the kindest thing I have to say about my childhood is that I survived it.
Yeah,
wow.
That's pretty kind.
That's something. I'm going to say grace right here for Rubin.
That's it. He's breathing.
He's like 9 and he's running a gang. Grace.
Oh, boy.
It's not wonderful. He all sorts of reformatories and bad schools and juvie halls he's going to encounter as a kid. He said he got into his first fight when he was 5 years old.
That's early.
5 with the neighborhood bully. And he said he won the fight. But then he ended up really losing for the day because his father beat the shit out of him for fighting. Which is very strange. I got in a fight when I was in kindergarten with the bully, with the kid who picked on people all the time. And I remember telling my father about it for weeks, that this kid was picking on people. And he said, punch him in the face. He said, punch him in the mouth. That'll shut him the fuck up. That's what everyone told. My grandmother told me, punch him in the face. My grandfather told me, knock him in the face. That's what you do. You got to punch him. So, I mean, maybe we came up different, I guess.
Make him stop.
Is that?
How do I do that?
Did everybody have that?
Punching him right in the fucking nose will do it.
Did everybody have their whole family, women included, telling them to punch people in the face?
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe that's just an Italian thing. I'm not sure. But he said, Rubin said that remembering his first fight, he said that, quote, a shiver of fierce pleasure ran through me. Beating this kid up. After beating the guy up. Yeah, he liked it. He thought that was good. That was like stirring inside of him.
Yeah.
He said that, oddly enough, strangely, beatings from his dad didn't stop him from wanting to fight. Weird, right?
Kind of made him want to fight back.
Strange, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It didn't subdue the rage at all that he had in him. Odd. You'd think, if you beat the kid up a little bit, he won't want to fight anymore. But no, that's not how it works. And so he just looked at it as, well, if I can take an ass kicking from my father, that 12-year-old can't do shit to me.
Right.
It's the way he looked at it. And he really he would beat up bullies, anybody making fun of his speech impediment. He would do that. He got expelled from school for fighting with a teacher.
Oh,
in elementary school.
He took the bigger one.
He threw hands with the teacher for, quote, mistreating him, is the way he felt. So
I wonder what that was.
I mean, he's not afraid of his dad. He's not going to be afraid of you at this point. He even punched the local preacher.
Oh, you can't do
which
that.
got him in trouble as well. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. When he was fighting the teacher, it wasn't that he felt the teacher was mistreating him. He thought the teacher mistreated his sister. So he went and punched the teacher.
Took up for his sister.
Went up and said, "What do you want, a piece of me, motherfucker?" Which is hilarious coming from an 8-year-old. That's really funny. And then he started throwing hands, which I love.
Wow.
Rubin ends up starting working at age 8.
Where?
Eight, which
Doing
is
what?
1945. We're talking. So the war's just ending, and at the age of 9, I guess working with him, making him assist him in his small businesses. At the age of 9, Rubin stole some new clothes and gave them to his brothers and sisters. So he stole his brothers and sisters' clothes. His father saw the new clothes and said, I don't remember buying you fucking kids new clothes. And so he beat the living shit out of Rubin, obviously. And then he did something that's I've never heard of. And this is amazing because we heard of.
Did he return them?
Joe Pepitone's dad would beat the shit out of him, break the bike. He just got him, all this. He not only beat Rubin up, he then turned him into the police.
Oh, what?
Which is mad fucked up. This is wrong. You don't turn your kid into the police for that. Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess you're trying to teach him a lesson, but for fuck's sake, My
mom caught me stealing, said she was going to call the cops if I didn't take it back to the store. So I just went and threw it away.
Yeah, you're just trying to scare you. Yeah, you didn't want to go back there and face that music.
No, I'm not going to. Are you kidding me? I'm going to go steal again one day. I don't want them to.
They're going to be looking at me from now on.
Then they're going to know that I steal.
Oh, man. So they ended up moving to Paterson, New Jersey.
Oh,
the Carters, which was not a good place then.
No,
still not. But then it was
it's barely okay now.
Falling apart. It was used to be. They used to make textile factories. They had there.
Oh, really?
So there was like factory jobs, and then all of those disappeared, and then it was just burnt out husks of shithole buildings. And Rubin called Paterson a terrible, terrible place, which is about right. And that led to being in a street gang called the Apaches, which sounds super cool in the 50s. We're the Apaches. They had like leather jackets and shit with like a fucking Apache on the back, like an axe or some shit.
I don't know if I like that.
It sounds like
it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Oh, it makes no sense. A bunch of black kids from Paterson, New Jersey are the Apaches. But it sounds cool.
It's not bad.
It sounds pretty because in the 50s nowadays these gangs are like they're all like numbers and letters and shit. Like those aren't fun. That's back then you had to have like
doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
No, back then you had to have like a snappy gang name. That was part of it. Like
Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbirds, the Bandoliers. You know what I mean? Like shit you had to have
the Jets, the Sharks.
Yeah, stuff like that. So shit that looked cool on a jacket. It was like a sports team. We're the Apaches and
the Spiders.
Some cool shit. So. He said that is when he committed his first crime, which was stealing clothes from a store. This is the beating he took there.
Yeah.
In an enemy gang's territory, which makes no sense. Stealing from a store there. I don't know why the gang would care about that.
Well, because you can't protect your own shit. You're so tough, but we're in your store stealing shit.
Yeah. Well, the father turning him in, they didn't just like take him in and go, oh, hey, listen, you're lucky your father took you in here a little bit.
They arrested his ass.
They arrested him and he received 2 years probation for petty larceny.
Dad, what the fuck?
Thanks. Now I'm in the system. Appreciate it.
2 years.
2 years. So now that's the problem here too is now any little thing that he does, now he's on probation. It's just gonna roll over and roll over and roll over. So, and his parents are together. They have a stable home. There's there's food in the house. The kids have clothes. The kids have things. Like a lot of our boxer stories we hear like, oh, he had a dirt floor. Yeah. You know what I mean? And his mom and dad had to like eat one of his sisters to stay alive. And like that's a normal boxing story that we hear though.
Yeah. And they got to fight to get out of it. It's the only way to solve this economical hardship on this entire family.
That's it. He's just a seriously... it's a different thing from him. He's a middle-class kid who's seriously angry inside, and that's all there is to it. And his father and him butted heads constantly. Like we said, he would defend one of his brothers or sisters from a bully, and then his dad would beat the shit out of him rather than saying,
but his dad's just like an enigma because he's very contradictory in everything he does. You know what I mean?
Well, he's Baptist. He's very Baptist. So that means fire and brimstone. You can beat the shit out of your kids. You got to show them this way, but also you have to be righteous, and you have to. There's a lot of different things there that are difficult to understand, I would imagine, as a child.
It's just fascinating to be a man of God, but
it's okay to beat me, but not
beat the shit out of children.
It's very strange here. That's wild. They said, well, why did he steal the clothing if he didn't need it? Because he said he didn't need it. It's not like they didn't have clothes. Their parents bought them school clothes and shit like that. They were fine. So, I mean, they are a middle class family. They're not poor. He said excitement, defiance. I would have returned the stuff if I could without getting caught gladly. So he said it's not about having the clothes. He just liked the exhilaration of the steal. If he could just turn around and go, "Ha, got you, just stole the shit," and then leave, he'd have been happy with that. It's just that he wanted to do it. So that's interesting here. But he said that his father didn't want him to fight at all. Never wanted him to fight. He said he kept growing up ashamed of always doing the stammering when he would speak in class because they'd ask him a simple question that he should have a simple answer for, and he couldn't get it out. So he said, fighting, quote, was the only way I could strike back with my fists. I learned I could use them when I was only 5 or so because I was tormented by a speech defect. I used to react even more violently. I know that now. So now he knows that he was angry and all that kind of thing.
He was frustrated, yeah.
Yeah. When he's 11 years old, he is sentenced to a juvenile reformatory, which is like a jail, basically, for assault. And, he says, and this is the story, he said an older man tried to sexually assault him. So he stabbed him. He stabbed the man. Rubin stabbed the man, which I have no fucking problem with whatsoever. Don't fucking diddle kids.
But the man saying he had no interest in that, this kid just stabbed him out of nowhere.
Apparently, yeah. So he was sent to the Jamesburg Home for Boys. No shit. I'm taking the kid's word on this one here.
I'm running with him for sure.
His story was, he said it all started out with that dude near the Tubbs. And Tubbs was a swimming hole in Patterson, basically. Yeah. And one summer day, he said he resisted the advances of this old man and had to stab him to get away. That's what he said. Now, we don't know what the truth is, obviously, here, but he does end up in the Jamesburg State Home for Boys. And he said to survive being a state ward, you had to hit before you were hit, before you give before you got, and stay on top. It's prison.
That's crazy to be a state ward at a child's age.
He's 11. He's talking prison rules.
Yeah, he's learning horrible. You
got to be aggressive.
Yeah,
totally. He's there for 2 years.
Till he's 13. 2
years, and then it's about a month before he's about to be released, and he escaped. Rubin. They said, "Why'd you do that?" And he said, "I knew I was getting out, but I just wanted to go home." So now, So he ends up apparently having more troubles in his youth and dodging cops and dodging incarceration until he is old enough to at least fake his age to get into the Army to avoid all this.
Yeah.
Because then they can
service life.
Can't get to him. I'm in the Army. Look at me. Woohoo.
Right.
Which you think would be the easiest place to find you because you know exactly where you sleep every night.
You're right. Paperwork on this.
Yeah, we know exactly where he is. He's right there.
Yeah.
So we know where he is 24 hours a day. Exactly there. So I guess he completed basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and then he went to West Germany.
Wow.
Yeah. He said that helped him learn to speak properly in the Army because they actually tried to teach him that. That helped him a lot. He also met a man in the Army who helped him convert to Islam, which was another thing that he gets into a lot later on.
Yeah.
And the Army made him think, I got to stay clean when I get out of here and, live a life like this rather than like I was living here. So he did paratrooper training as well. He became a paratrooper, yeah.
Wow.
And he learned to box at the Army's field house while in the Army as well, which is, In World War II era, so many of those boxers came out of the Army and Navy.
Is that right?
Tons of those guys started boxing in the Army and Navy.
It's
and
kind of like
later on.
a heyday for boxing, too.
Oh, it was huge. Yeah, that was when
was it a big deal.
When TV first came out, Friday night fights were like the biggest
Yeah.
thing. They'd have Friday night boxing on TV. It was a huge deal for Madison Square Garden. That was a big, giant deal. Boxing was huge back then.
That was Joe Louis, yeah?
Joe Louis, and then into Rocky Marciano,
Right.
and then into Muhammad Ali, and all that shit. So that's
Such a great time for boxing.
the 40s through the 60s through the 70s really were tremendous through the whole Ali era. They were great for boxing. That's the heyday, big time. I guess in his first fight, he was goaded into it after he'd been drinking, which is the way you want to have your first boxing match.
Drunk. Yeah.
And it came against the Army's heavyweight champion.
Oh, no.
Which he's a smaller guy. He's a middleweight, obviously. He used borrowed boots and gloves because he doesn't have any.
A real fight.
A real fight. Yeah, he's doing this.
my
And he knocked out the heavyweight champ.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a bad motherfucker. I mean, he's no joke. And he probably has
deliver a punch.
Probably has a decent chin on him since he's been taking it from his dad since he was a kid, too.
Yeah.
At that point, he's immediately transferred to a special part of the service for boxers. Like, they're like, oh,
That's
no.
all he does.
He's actually going to be good. He said, I never had a pair of gloves on before the Army. One morning, a buddy and I saw the post-boxing team working out. I always heard this was an easy job, special services and all that, being on that. He said, we were ready to go on maneuvers anyway, so we asked the coach if we could try out. And so he started at light welterweight, which is 139 pounds, ended up moving up to welterweight, and he won 51 of 56 service bouts.
What? Lost 5.
Lost 5, yeah. And he got 35 knockouts. He won the All-Army and the All-European titles and qualified for the 1956 Olympic tryouts, but he would have had to re-enlist in the Army for some reason to do it, so he didn't do it.
Hasn't made a dime in boxing, probably, right?
No.
Are they
this
paid
is all,
for this?
No, fuck
this
no.
Is all
this is in
via
the Army.
enlistment, right?
Yeah, you're not getting paid shit for this.
Hasn't made a dime, probably already has CTE.
That's, nothing. This is,
wow.
It's crazy. So then he begins going to classes, including a Dale Carnegie class, who's the How to Win Friends and Influence People guy. Yeah. Which that also helped him overcome his speech impediment even more.
Being a little more personable. Yeah.
Confident and all of that. And he changed his name for a little while and then changed it back to Rubin. So
what did he change it to?
I don't know what he changed it to. But he changed it back quickly. It was like a quick. I think he was like, oh, shit, this is in the 50s. People were like, what the fuck are you talking about? What's your name again? And he was like, it's Rubin. It's Rubin Carter. I'm not spelling this for you.
You know people already. You know people that know you. And you can't just show up to them and be like, my name's Tom now.
I'm not spelling Salama for you every fucking time. It's just, I'm not doing it. Or, whatever, a name that's not easy. Right. So he is discharged in 1956 from the Army as unfit for service after 4 court-martials.
I wonder what happened.
Well,
4 court-martials.
4 different times he had some court-martialing action going on here.
Jesus.
He gets a job. He gets out of the Army, gets a job at a paper factory in East Patterson. The dream.
Oh, man.
An East Patterson, New Jersey paper factory. My goodness.
This guy had an illustrious boxing career.
Fuck. If only there was a job opening at the chicken parts sorting plant. I could have got there, but no, it's paper. He'd been home less than a month when the police, he came across the police as he always does, and they looked him up and said, oh, you have a warrant here for when you escaped from Jamestown. Remember that? Or Jamesburg. Remember that?
When he was 13?
Can't do that, or 15 or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, can't do that. So that's still a warrant that's out for him.
Oh, my God.
He said, they picked me up at home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was sent to Annandale Reformatory for 9 months.
As an adult?
As an adult, yeah, to an adult reformatory. After he gets out of there, he gets a job operating an extruder, which is a machine that shapes plastic and metal. Shapes shit. It's a factory of making crap.
Stamping things, yeah.
Yeah, then, of course, he gets in trouble again while he's doing that because he was out drinking and acting crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
So Rubin, the thing about Rubin is, like I said, I haven't seen the movie at all, but just based on the song and based on the generalities you pick up, I thought this guy was a boxer, never got in any trouble, and then they, like picked him out of the crowd saying he murdered somebody, and they put him away, and he was never even in the neighborhood, didn't know anything, and it's not that at all. It's really
He's
not.
actually a bad guy.
He's a fucking mess, this guy. An absolute mess. And there's a lot of shady shit with the whole actual murder thing, too. So,
there was an actual murder.
Oh, there's an actual murder involved, but he's not. We'll talk all about that. That'll be in like part whatever. So,
in the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
He continued to have problems. He and 3 other boys attacked a man and stole his watch, which is a mugging. Can't do that.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
He's convicted of robbery and assault. Yeah, he's a predator. He's gone from, I'll defend myself if some old guy tries to diddle me. He's gone from that to, hey, that's a nice watch. Let's beat the shit out of that guy and take it, which is going from sympathetic to not sympathetic real fast there. So there's an article in the paper from the Herald News in 1957. Parolees plead guilty to mugging. 2 youths pleaded guilty to a series of assault and robbery charges in Passaic County Court yesterday. Both are on parole for other crimes. Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
Alfred Harris, 20, and Rubin Carter, 20, will be sentenced here. Both are still in jail. They were accused of taking a purse containing $2.60 from Ms. Mary Deary, 37 here, and of Graham Avenue. They were also charged with mugging Roy Harrison, a 30-year-old. Harrison said 2 men attacked him at Summer Street and Park Avenue and took $10. And then Carter, by himself, was also charged with assaulting Edward Simon, a 61-year-old man.
Wow.
The same night where Simon was knocked down, but he wasn't robbed. He just beat up an old man. Not an old man, but when you're 20, 61's an old man. So
3 muggings, and so far the score is $12.60.
Yeah, yeah.
$12.60.
He's got nothing.
Their haul.
Well, that's their whole haul. Then after you split it up, then what is it? So
yeah, then
every guy's in this for like $4. Great. Yeah. But this is just what he does now. He's going around knocking people out and trying to take their money. So this isn't good, man, at all. This is a terrible person. Not good. So, by the way, here's an article right under this, which is very funny because it's so sad. It says, "No one came," reads Diary of Dying Woman for a year.
No.
Yeah. A friendless woman died alone in a tiny London apartment, leaving a diary with the same entry every day on the last year of her life. It said, "No one came." At the end of the day, no one came, and then she fucking died. So that's very sad.
She stopped writing. That's crazy.
Couldn't do it. So just if one person came over, she could have made it another year, I feel like. No one came. So September 1957, there's another article here, and this is jails five men for muggings. Yes, ordered jail sentences for 5 people. There's more people in this group accused of muggings in the city, and blasted the criminals. The judge said, quote, "I have no patience with muggers." None. They're a menace to society. And he ruled 2, you, sir, may fuck off, 1 to 3 year sentences, 2 of them consecutively. So 2 to 6, apparently.
For how?
For
just
Rubin.
2 of them?
For
Yeah.
Rubin.
Oh, and he's one of them.
That's what Rubin got here.
Okay.
So that is not good. Carter and Harris were, this is from the purse robbery and the 30-year-old and the 61-year-old. So not good at all here. They imposed these sentences, and so now he's going to go to prison, adult prison. Fun.
For up to 6 years.
Yeah, not a reform school, not, the brig. This is prison, actually. He said in prison he started to read philosophical and psychological works now. He got a hold of the prison library and started reading. And he said, there's nothing to do in prison except think. You think 24 hours a day, and it'll drive you crazy. So I started to read. You come in contact with so many different types there, and there are so many conversations. You either fall in with the guys who read cowboy books or the others. I happen to fall in love with fall in with the philosophical crowd.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So different, I guess, cliques based on what they're reading back then, which is
fascinating.
Way different than prison is now.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with what you're reading now.
The Sundance Kid? Fuck out of here.
What is that shit? So he's going to spend more than 4 years in Rahway and Trenton state prisons.
Jesus.
Until he's finally released in September of 61. First of all, he's already 24 years old, and he's only boxed in the Army, and that was fucking years ago. 5 years ago.
That's not going to... Yeah.
There's
insane. Nobody that gets started in any sort of career at this age that becomes successful at it.
Rocky Marciano's the only boxer I can think of. Rocky Marciano didn't box till he was like 24.
Really?
That's why he's like not real skilled. He just has the best chin of anyone who's ever existed and punched like a fucking mule. So he'd let you hit him a couple times if he could give you a big old shot. He had no technique or anything. He didn't box till he was in his 20s.
And it's a confusing ass sport because you're hitting somebody with a giant pillow.
Yeah.
Boy, does it hurt.
Well, fuck yeah, it hurts. Put some pop on it, man.
Yeah.
So in prison, though, he would practice boxing and he trained and lifted weights. So when he got out of prison, he said, I'm going to be a professional boxer. I'm in shape. I can do this. And so the day after his release from prison in 1961, he has his first professional fight.
Really?
Yes. He's only 5'8", like we said, 5'7", 5'8", but he doesn't give a shit. He fights his whole career at between 155 and 160, which is it's kind of short for it because there's some guys who are taller in that weight class. You know what I mean? There's the guys like, much, much later, obviously, but you got your like Diego Corraleses who were like 6'1", who were fighting 135 and shit and just jabbing the fuck out of people, keeping them away. So, he's very aggressive and he has power. A lot of early round knockouts, way more than normal for the lower weight classes like this. And the way his style was, once again, he's not the most skilled combatant on earth here. He overwhelms you much like Rocky Marciano would do, and that's when he earns the Hurricane nickname because it's the way he fights.
Flurries. Yeah.
It's the way he fights. He's just he's a hurricane of movement and aggression.
Okay.
So his first fight, September 22nd, 1961, he fights Pike Reed, which sounds like an old-time boxer's name. Pike, P-I-K-E, Pike.
Yeah.
That's old Pikey Reed there. Pikey is 1-0 coming into the fight, so he's a new guy too.
Right? Yeah.
And this will be his last fight of his career, though, for Pikey. 1-1 for his career. This is at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, and it's a split decision in 4 rounds win for Rubin, but it retired this guy.
Yeah, and some other people on the panel didn't believe he won.
No, it's a split decision. This guy must have realized that I don't want to get punched that hard anymore. The other guy.
Yeah.
Wrong sport for me.
I fought once and I won, and then I fought this, and it's not near as fun when somebody else is doing well.
And this guy never fought before. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he's beating the shit out of me. So,
and it wasn't even an overwhelming victory, and he still quit.
No.
It was overwhelming enough for him.
It seems to me like if I had to guess, I bet the other guy was more of a boxer and knew how to tie him up and things like that, but he didn't enjoy getting punched real hard when he got hit in the ribs and shit. Right. So October 11th, 1961, so 20 days later, he fights Joey Cooper, who's also 1-0 coming in. And Joey Cooper, his career doesn't last much longer either. He's 1-2 for his career.
Oh, no.
Second round KO for Rubin here. So now he's 2-0, and he gets his first knockout under his belt. Right. Not too bad here. October 24th, 1961, 13 days later, he fights Frank Nelson, who's 1-0 coming in again. So he's fighting all these 1-0 guys. This will be a TKO in the first round for Rubin.
Great.
So he's perfecting his style here. Frank Nelson will retire at 3-3, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, promoters all build him as they need a narrative. Fighters need narratives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The kid from here, the guy from this. They need a narrative. So their narrative with him was he's a hoodlum turned champ. Look at him. He's a hoodlum gone good. That was their whole thing. You know what I mean?
That's a lie, because I mean it's true, but it's also a lie because this man's fought 55 times in the Army. Let's talk about that too, because if you're not telling the other guy in the ring that's dangerous for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to assume the guy across from you's fought some amateur.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. Guys fight 200 amateur fights beforehand, so same thing. I guess.
But he's won almost all of them.
Yeah, well, I would hope that their managers would know that and tell them that. But they're talking about how he's like becomes a poster boy for the rehabilitation potential of prisons. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He fights October.
Of prison. Prison can fix you.
Look at that. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Next up, Herschel Teeny Baby Jacobs.
Oh, boy.
Teeny Baby. He's 7-2 coming in, 27-20-2 for his career. Old Teeny Baby. This fight goes all 4 rounds.
Right.
And it is a win on points for Rubin against Teeny Baby, which you don't want to lose to Teeny Baby earlier in your career. That'll ruin everything.
That's the opposite of Harold Miner. Wasn't he Big Baby? Wasn't that what he was?
He was, no, he was, Baby Jordan, they called him.
Oh.
They called him Baby Jordan.
Yeah, you're right.
You're thinking of Big Baby.
Yeah, is it Glenn Robinson?
Right. Wasn't it somebody right?
I don't know. Big Baby. They called somebody Big Baby, right?
Yeah, well, there's so many bigs in basketball. Big
Somebody
this, big that, fucking, geez, the Big Kahuna. I don't even know anymore. I'm not sure.
There was somebody that was a Big Baby.
There was. Glenn Big Baby Wright.
Glenn Wright. That's who it
his
is.
name.
Yeah.
That just flowed there. 90s ESPN just popped out of my mouth. And we might be wrong, but it sounds right to both of us.
Unless it was Glenn Robinson. Was he Big Dog or something?
He's, I think, the Big Dog. Yes, he's Big Dog Robinson. That's what I mean. They were both named Glenn, so it was confusing.
Yeah.
There's Big Baby and Big Dog.
For sure.
Yeah. There was. Because he looked like a big baby. Looked like a 6'10" baby.
Big bald head. Yeah.
January 19th, 1962, I guess he's going to fight Teeny Baby again.
Oh, really?
He's back in the Teeny Baby business.
We got a war with Teeny Baby.
That's it. We're going to have a series with Teeny Baby. I'm 4-0, and I'm going to take down Teeny Baby. This time it goes all 6 rounds, the 6-round fight, and Rubin loses on points.
Oh.
So now he's 4-1, so he loses to Teeny Baby.
Oh, no.
But that's tough. February 14th, 1962, he fights Tommy Settles, who's 5-8 coming into this fight. Okay, 5-8 coming into this fight. So think about what the rest of his career is. He'll retire at 5-17-6.
My Christ, it never went good.
Nope, 6 draws and 9 losses after this fight is what he has. That's a fucking mess. This is at the State Garden in Union City, and Tommy Settles. This is a knockout in the first round for Rubin. He's pissed off about losing the last fight, I think, still.
Yeah, no doubt.
Next up is 2 weeks later. He fights Felix Santiago, who's 3-10. Same location, same venue. This is a knockout in the first round again for Rubin.
Okay.
So now he's doing this here. March 14th, 1962. This is very odd here. Strange story. Rubin Carter, here he is with pigeons.
He's got birds?
Here's a picture in the paper of Rubin, a small boy,
A little baby.
And some other guy standing here. Carmen Tedeschi, some Guinea, a kid, and Rubin here are admiring a pigeon.
Yeah, and they're all holding hands, right?
They're holding a pigeon. That's a pigeon, like Rubin spreading out the wings. With one and
holding it together.
They're holding this pigeon. They admire a pigeon, is what it says here.
That thing's alive.
Yeah. They said Tedeschi, who recently turned fight manager when he obtained middleweight Hurricane Rubin Carter, so he's his new manager, raises thoroughbred pigeons in the yard of his Saddlebrook, New Jersey home, and has a collection of racers that he values at about $20,000.
Each bird?
No. The collection is $20,000, which is $200,000 in birds today, in today's money.
Jesus, how many birds is that?
I don't know. It's a collection.
It's gotta be 1,000 birds, right?
Well, we know how many are in like this or that. How many birds are in a collection? Like we know what a murder is. It's got to be this many. We know what a flock is. How many in a collection? We're not sure.
Dipshit?
A dipshit, yeah.
An annoyance?
He said, I raised nothing but champions, is what Tedeschi says. My prize is a bird named Miss 220, and that's the bird they were holding. She's 16 years old now. But when she was at her peak, she won championship races on 5 successive weekends. She covered about 1,500 miles in those races. At one time, I could have sold her for $5,000, but I wouldn't sell her now for the world.
How does she know where to go?
I don't know. Pigeons,
That's a race.
They do that. They have the pigeons that leave and then come back. People train pigeons to do that.
Homing, right?
Yeah, like Marlowe.
But 1,500 miles... How do you send them out?
That's over 5 weekends.
Oh.
So 300 miles per thing. So that'd be 150 out and 150 back probably per thing. But still, I don't know how the fuck you send a bird 150 miles and it comes back without forgetting what it's supposed to be doing.
Right. Do you put out a beacon of some
sort? Its brain is the size of a Tic Tac. I don't know how the fuck it how it can negotiate the complications of that.
And every stay-at-home wife has a bell of birdseed feeder at her back. You know what I mean? How does it?
Birds have radar or some shit though. Yeah. They're weird. They have some weird radar going on. They're strange. Tedeschi says it's fascinating. He says, my son Johnny, he's 9 years old, is learning fast, and I'm going to get Rubin Carter interested if it kills me. He's going to get Rubin into pigeons, man.
How do you soup it up to get it go faster?
Jesus. You got a little steroid, just a little injection. Under the wing so nobody sees it. You got to put it right where the wing connects to the body, though, so nobody sees the injection mark.
You can't put it in the feet.
It'll get thrown right out of that joint. Next up, he fights Jimmie McMillan in March of 1962, who's 2-8 coming in. Jimmie McMillan, I wonder.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not Irish Jimmie McMillan, because that seems a lot of the guys, that's what they would have been called back then. This is a knockout in the third round. So Jimmie's gonna bury his...
Oh, my God. Do they call him Mix because of the M's?
Yes.
I just got it.
You just got that now. Wow. You just got that.
Embarrassing.
That half the fucking island has a Mick in their name. That's why they call him that. You're thinking, why are you naming yourselves this if everyone's calling you fucking Mix? Don't lean into this shit.
Why do they call them that? That was Dundee's name.
That is fucking hilarious. That is fucking funny.
Wow.
So he knocks Jimmie McMillan out in the third round, sends him back to the potato famine. There he goes. Back across.
There and fight the snakes, man.
Yeah, get back there and dig up some peat for a living. There you go. So March 21st, 1962, the Jersey Journal says this about it. There's an article about Rubin. It says the number one attraction at the moment is middleweight Hurricane Rubin Carter, whose star has risen at a rapid pace since making his first local appearance in 2 months ago. Carter, who KO'd Jimmie McMillan in 3 rounds at the Armory last Friday, has won 7 of 8 pro bouts, and 5 of them have been by knockout. Willie Pep, the former featherweight champion who referred the Carter McMillan go. Referred it? I don't understand what that means.
He recommended it?
I don't know.
Picked it? No.
Who referred? Oh, they're trying to say refereed. There's not enough E's. It's a fucking typo in the Jersey Journal. Maybe that's why it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe if they edited better, it would still be in fucking existence. I'm like, referred.
Somebody drinking coffee thought the same thing, man.
Yeah, REFERRED. That's referred.
That's referred.
That certainly isn't fucking read. I'll tell you that much now.
That's referred, maybe.
He referred.
Smoked weed and watched.
He referred the Carter McMillan go, calling Rubin one of the most vicious punchers he's seen in the middleweight division in a long time.
Yeah.
Said it won't be long before Rubin makes it in the bigger arenas, and there's already talk that he'll soon fight at Madison Square Garden. But Carmen Tedeschi, his manager, says, "Oh, slow down a minute over here. What are we doing? Oh, come on.
Take it easy. Take it easy."
He said, but we know where we are and we know where we got our start. No matter how far Rubin goes in this game, he'll never be too big to come back and fight in the Hudson County.
Okay.
He'll never be too big. Yeah, he will. Yeah. When the arena isn't big enough to hold the amount of people
all
you
the
can
people
sell tickets for.
Right, yeah.
At some point it becomes a business.
You'll leave.
Yeah. People ask us, like, for Small Town Murder, why don't you do Zanies anymore? Because it fucking seats 300 people. That's why. Nothing against anything. But why are we going to fly there and make a third of the money we can make, or half, not even a fucking eighth of the money? It's crazy.
Eighth of, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Hurricane here, April 5th, 1962. It's Hurricane on Way is the title of the article. Rubin Carter sets sights on home in Hudson County, not Valley. I'm used to saying Hudson Valley because that's where I live.
This is Jersey, right?
Yeah. It isn't hurricane season yet, but there's one headed toward Hudson County. Ugh, gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one is named Carter, Rubin Carter to be specific. Carmen Tedeschi, Carter's manager, says Rubin wants to move to Hudson County. That's his good luck spot. He got his best breaks fighting in Union City, and he feels that's where most of his fans are. By the way, I say this because they have a picture of Carmen here. Look at him.
Boy.
Carmen 100% talks like that. And he looks like one of my uncles, Carmen. So
absolutely. Yeah.
He does.
He loves bread.
He fucking loves bread.
Big fan of
his
bread.
favorite thing, though, you got to mop up the sauce on the plate afterwards. Yeah. My favorite thing in the world, let me tell you something. Number one, it's watching my fighters win. Yeah. Number two, it's eating my Sunday pasta, right? I got sauce on the plate. Then afterwards, because we eat the salad after, I put the salad with the oil and vinegar on there with the sauce. I eat that salad. Now there's oil and vinegar and sauce all mixed together on my plate. I take a fucking hunk of bread. I mop it all up in circles.
Tearing it.
And I fucking cover my pants. It's so fucking good.
That man rips a nice piece of bread.
He does. And by the way, if you've never done what I just described, holy fuck, do yourself a favor. Because, my God, it's really the greatest thing ever. So they say Carter, a hard-hitting middleweight, has a date with New York City's Tommy Tucker at St. Nick's Arena. Santa Claus has an arena? That's nice.
Is that right?
St. Nick's, yeah. Is there a St. Nick? Is there like a... in the Catholic religion?
Yeah,
I have no fucking idea.
There's got to be a St. Nicholas, right?
That would be hilarious, though. Then you should have picked a different name for Santa Claus if there's already one.
Yeah.
St. Barnaby or something. Just give him a weird name.
Unless he's the saint that brings you things. You know what I mean?
Maybe he's the saint that fucking brings toys to children.
Well, St. Nicholas is of Myra. He's the Greek descent. What is it? Maritime. He brings things. He does.
He brings you shit.
Does he bring things?
That's why they named the Santa Claus after him, then, probably.
He's a wonder worker. Yeah, that makes sense.
What the fuck is that? What does that mean? Too many saints, Catholic. Sorry.
He's the patron saint of sailors, merchant, archers, and repentant thieves. Children. There you go.
When you hear what the saints are saints of, it's fucking hilarious because they'll be like the saints. It's always like the saints of education, prudence, and Cocoa Puffs or some weird shit. There's always like, and children with reading problems. Like always like a weird one in there where you're like, what does that mean in there at the end?
He's the patron saint and legendary habit of secret gift giving, James. That's where St. Nicholas comes from.
And soft cheeses, I believe, is also on there. So they can just add anything in there.
Lollipops.
Yeah, anything in there. So weird. Yeah. All right, well, that makes sense. We just figured out a big thing here. Means nothing to boxing, but that's fine. No. I'm glad that we know it now. They say Carter can earn a national TV shot at St. Nick's on May 5th with an impressive victory. Jimmie Collado, who has been promoting fights in Union City's State Garden, all on the up and up, too. I don't want to hear nothing about this.
I'm sure of it, yeah.
Listen, hey, Jimmie Collado, none of his fights are on the up and up. I don't want to hear this bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Every one of my fights, square. They're all square fights. So he said this could happen. He said he's starting to move now, talking about Carter. He'll be a main eventer at Madison Square Garden before the year is out, in my opinion, because that's what the other thing we have to do. That's just my opinion. I think. But what do I know? You know what I mean?
don't know shit. Yeah.
But Carter wants to get another good win in Hudson County before he hits the Garden. He says, I owe my fans here another good show. Then if I'm fortunate enough to hit the Garden, they'll have something to cheer about. Carter has been tabbed by former heavyweight champ Willie Pep as one of the hardest-hitting middleweights in the game today. Pep says a lot of fighters hit hard, but when Rubin puts you down, you don't get up. Nice. Carter's best punch is a left hook, but his right is also effective. Rubin says, I'm not sure which is my best punch. It all depends on the location of my opponent's head.
Oh.
That's fair. And then also, that same week, there's an article that says that Rubin also wants to be a minister, because why not? What the fuck? Yeah. They said Carter boxing minus beard, but only for a while, because he had a beard before that.
Sure.
Patterson's Rubin Carter is a young man with a mission. Rubin, you see, likes to sport a beard, but the state athletic boxing commissioner, Joseph J. Walker, he be clean-faced while pursuing. That they fucked that up, too. Jesus, these papers.
Insists?
No, that's not what it says, but that's what it should have said.
That's what they mean, right?
Yeah, they left that word out there.
Yeah.
His chosen occupation. They could tell you what facial hair you had as a boxer?
I mean, the Yankees can tell you what facial hair
because the Yankees pay you.
Player. Yeah, good point. Yeah,
but you have a contract with the Yankees. Right? You don't have a contract with the
boxing commission.
Boxing commission. They don't tell you what the fuck to do. This is an independent contractor game here.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have a guaranteed deal or anything. The Yankees can say that because they say we're going to pay you $112 million over the next 6 years. So you have to do what we say. These people.
You're not to get circumcised. My parents did that to me as a kid. Well, we're going to reattach it.
We're going to do it. Sorry.
We're going to get to skin grafting because we have foreskins around here.
This is a foreskin fucking squad. He said, so Rubin has been beardless for the past 6 months, although he manages to get by with a hint on a mustache, not a hint of a mustache. These fucking newspapers. And it appears as if he doesn't lean too heavily on the razor. Walker, however, tempered his decision to make Carter shave the beard off with the promise that the youngster could grow it back and wear it in the ring once he became champion. Wow. You become champ, you can make the rules. He just did like Bull Durham. Yeah. Once you win 20 in the show, you can grow mold on your shower shoes and people will call you colorful. Till then, you're a scumbag. So
yeah.
They said, hence Carter's mission, he simply won't be satisfied until he's the middleweight champion of the world. His manager, Carmen Tedeschi, also of Patterson, does little to discourage his boy. In fact, he believes in it too. Yeah, I guess so. They said he's been such a good fighter. They said a win, though, in the upcoming fight can unlock the door. That's going to unlock it all to being on TV, which is a big deal because then people know who you are. They buy tickets, and there you go.
It's far and wide.
So they said it's a long way. He doesn't have the fighting experience of a lot of the guys who are in the championship ranks, even in the amateur ranks. But he said, I have my sights set on the highest goal there is, a championship. That's the way it has to be. This is my life.
Right.
This is my life. Damn it. Won't be fucking told what to do. And he starts singing John Bon Jovi lyrics over and over again.
Yeah.
Saying he just wants to live forever.
It's not ordinary.
It's not ordinary. So he said that he starts his day at 4:30 a.m. and ends around 8 p.m. That's his training that he does.
4 to 4?
Yeah. Well, he also works. He has a job.
A day job. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a day job. So he does road work in the morning. He runs. Then he does a paying, day job. Then he rests a little bit. Then does some gym work till about 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So 4:30 a.m. It's him and Tedeschi are doing road work at Garrett Mountain, and that's what they do. Carter, by the way, his day job is working for Tedeschi, waterproofing at Tedeschi's waterproofing and building firm. So he's doing like factory work.
Yeah, he's out there waterproof. He's putting coatings on buildings and shit like that.
Shit like that. And at 7 a.m. Carter. He goes there at 7. He gets off work at 2:30 and relaxes until 4:30. Then from 4:30 to 8, he works out at a Newark gym. He says he does that at least 5 days a week, but it's usually 7 days a week. And Rubin says, I guess I was just meant to be a fighter, and that's the way it has to be. Seems like it, since that's what you've been doing since you were 5 here.
Yeah.
And they said that this routine keeps him in, ready to go, basically, for fights. But it seems like it'd be even better routine if he wasn't working a day job.
Yeah, if you don't have to punch in somewhere, you got more opportunity.
Well, because if you fight the middleweight champ of the world, he wasn't at work today. He didn't punch out at 4 o'clock and then come to a fight. He's been doing nothing but thinking about fighting and boxing and training for fucking weeks now. So they said gunning for the middleweight title by the end of the year is what Tedeschi says they're going to do. He says, I'm sincere. Rubin and I both feel he's ready for anyone. That's it. Anyone in his weight class, obviously, clearly here. They said, though, he's ready to do it. But then once he wins the title, he said he'd like to become a minister. Okay, that's what he says. That's his deal. He says he plans he has plenty of examples to follow, including his father, Lloyd. And I guess out of his father, Lloyd's siblings, there was 13 children all in his father's family.
Wow.
And
side?
eight of them became ministers.
Oh.
So, and also Rubin's grandfather was a minister.
It's kind of the family business.
Kind of the family business, yeah. So either way, he thinks he's going to fucking do it, and he thinks he's ready to roll. I guess the fight that he lost, by the way, to Teeny back then, Teeny weighed in at over 170 pounds, and Rubin weighed 159 when they fought.
And he beat him.
So the guy had him by a good amount of weight, so that doesn't help any. So he says, once they start using the bigger gloves, 10 ounce, they can forget me in Jersey. I just as soon work out in the gym. Because they're saying because back then they were using, I believe, 8 ounce gloves, which are
so little.
So fucking little. And then they went to the bigger and bigger gloves. Yeah. So Rubin then, he considered 2 recent ring incidents. One was the death of Benny the Kid Paret, which we talked about in our Boxer's Death Patreon. And the second was Tunny Hunsacker was hospitalized. Speaking of the guy who died, Carter said, I wasn't disturbed by his death. That's nice.
No?
I wasn't disturbed by a guy getting killed doing the exact thing I do. That's normal.
We all know the risk.
Yeah, he said, this is a rough business. Others have been hurt and killed before, and it will happen again. In a way, it's God's business. What? What a weird fucking way to put that. Okay. Interesting. So April 16th, he fights Johnny Tucker, and this is his big chance. If he wins this fight, he's going on to bigger and better things. Johnny Tucker comes in 13-2.
Okay.
But he will end his career 13-3 because Rubin will knock his ass out in the first round and retire him.
Never fight again.
Never to fight again. So 2 weeks later, April 30th, 1962, he fights Walter Daniels, who also goes by Mick Daniels sometimes when he wants to seem more Irish, apparently.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
Did you know?
8 and 5 coming in here. That's fucking great.
That's what they call him that. It's crazy.
I can't believe you never noticed that.
It's so funny.
It is. I mean, it's honestly a lazy nickname.
It's so funny.
It's lazy as fuck.
I don't know why they're so mad about it. You know what I mean? Because
are they?
Is it? I've seen them get mad about it, right? I've seen people don't call me that or whatever. You know what I mean?
I guess, but listen, Nick so-and-so, that's in your fucking name. What do you want from me?
Very funny.
Yeah, if it wasn't in your name.
Yeah.
So he wins this fight, TKO in the second round. So he's climbing. He's 9-1 now. And he says that he credits the Jersey Journal for increasing his status because they've been doing stories on him. Yeah. He said, I was doing more wishing than punching when I fought in Union City in February. And then he says, though, but then I knocked out Tommy Settles in a preliminary fight, and the next day I was in the Journal headlines. After that, all my wishes started to come true. This is won his last 5 fights, all by knockout. And he says that the Jersey Journal created so much attention for Rubin. This is Tedeschi. He says that we now have a large following in Hudson County and don't think that didn't help us get a main event fight in New York. Right. That's what he's going to do.
Where at?
That's it. They say that Rubin hits as hard or harder than any other middleweight in the world. That's Colodo, the promoter guy. He said that's the biggest asset, but he's also very quick and strong. All he needs is experience, and he can go all the way. They said there is concerns about his ability to take a punch because his fights usually end so quick, and the opponent usually doesn't get a lot of opportunity to get in good shots on him. But they said in his last fight, he was hit hard several times in the first round and managed to shake it off with little effort. So there you go. He is scheduled for one more fight at the St. Nicholas Arena, and then his next fight is Madison Square Garden. So,
wow,
ready to go. He fights Sugar Boy Nando on May, which sounds like an insult.
Yeah.
Like an old-timey insult. Hey, Sugar Boy Nando. That sounds like someone's calling you a cocksucker, doesn't it?
A lot of times when boy is involved, it doesn't feel good.
No, it feels weird. Yeah. So this guy's 56, 22, and 5 coming in.
Not bad.
All the experience in the fucking world. He's going to end up 69, 44, and 7. So that's not as good. This fight goes 3 rounds, and Rubin TKO win here he gets in the 3rd round over Sugar Boy. So he melts Sugar Boy. So big article the next day about how great of fight it was and how great of a fighter Carter is. Nando said Carter hits as hard as anybody I've ever fought. And he's fought 100 fights at that point. So pretty good compliment. June 23rd, 1962, Ernest Buford. He fights 23-11-1 coming in. This is at Madison Square fucking Garden.
Hell yeah.
This is at the old MSG. This is at MSG 2, I believe, is what it would be. Because there's the original MSG, which is fucking old school, a small place.
Same area?
Early 1900s, generally. Then there's the second MSG, which was kind of became this big giant deal and all of that. But then in the 60s, they did a redo and they got rid of the bus station or some shit and turned that into Madison Square Garden. And that's where it sits now. So there's that.
It's giant. It's right by the bus station, so that makes sense.
It's right next. Yeah, they just built a new bus. It was the old crumbling bus station, and they Port Authority or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot of room to expand down there.
No, there isn't. And there was more room then, but still they had to knock an old thing down to build a new thing. So this fight goes all 8 rounds.
Wow.
All 8 rounds, and it is a unanimous decision loss for Rubin.
Oh, no.
Yep. They was the judges' cards were 4-3, 6-2, 3-4, 2-6, and 3-5. So he lost all 3.
Yeah.
July 30th, 1962, he's going to have a rematch they're talking about.
Fight him again.
He's excited, yeah. Tedeschi says, Rubin has never trained as hard for a fight as he is for this one. He has just been vicious in his workouts. He's sparring with Randy Sandy, a former middleweight contender with a really dumb name. I'd go by Randall. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want people to even think they could call me Randy Sandy.
I might change my last name.
Well, it makes me sound like a horny guy named Sandy at that point. Randy Sandy over there with his dick out. So I guess during sparring, he knocked out his partner and opened up a cut in his mouth that required stitches.
Poor Randy.
Customato, Mike Tyson's guy, as we know, this is well before Tyson was even fucking born. Manager of heavyweight champ Floyd Patterson and middleweight Jose Torres observed Carter during his workouts last week and was impressed. He said, the boy is an excellent prospect. He's not a boy.
Don't say that.
You say that if he's 17. He's like 28 years old and he's been to prison and in the army. He's not a boy.
Right, 28-year-old black guy that fights, that's racist.
That's, yeah.
You can't say that.
D'Amato was very not racist, which is funny.
Right.
That's just how they
Sounds horrible.
called everybody back then. So that's how this is going to go. Next up, rematch against Ernest Buford.
Okay.
Madison Square Garden, August 4th, 1962. And he TKOs Buford in the second round this time.
There we go.
Knocked down 3 times before the fight is called. So he batters Buford.
Yeah.
He just fucks him up. So now he's 11-2, and that loss is erased once you beat that guy. Nobody cares anymore. October 5th, 1962, he's going to be in a main event here. They're talking about a 10-round main event on the Jersey City Armory here. He's all excited for it, ready to go here. Says he can do it. He fights Mel Collins, who's 22-20-2. 22 wins, 20 losses, 2 draws. That's very hard to say.
Just as many times it didn't go his way as did.
As did. This is at the Armory in Jersey City. TKO in 5 rounds for Rubin. And Collins was knocked down in the 4th and 5th rounds, and they called it off. So 12-2 now for Hurricane. It's all happening for him, man.
Yeah, it's working.
October 27th, 1962, Florentino the Ox Fernandez.
Mm-hmm.
The Ox. That's
Florentino Fernandez.
The Ox is like for a big guy.
Yeah, that's a shitload of syllables.
It's a lot. Florentino Fernandez is a lot. He's 31-5 coming into this fight, so he's earned his syllables. That's a lot of wins. This is at Madison Square Garden, and Rubin makes a showing for himself here, knocking him out in the first round.
Wow.
So Rubin, that's a big deal. Goes to MSG and does a first-round knockout.
Sure.
And this was his TV debut as well. So. He just showed everybody that you do that on TV back then, there's 3 fucking channels. Everybody saw that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody.
And those who didn't heard about it.
They all heard about it, exactly. They didn't see it like on TiVo or anything, but they definitely, it wasn't streaming, but they saw the picture. So the newspaper afterwards says, Rubin Carter, a cocky newcomer from Paterson, New Jersey, made a sensational television debut Saturday night by knocking out middleweight contender Florentino Fernandez of Cuba in 1 minute and 9 seconds of the first round of a 10-round fight. Wow. He was the 5th-ranked middleweight in the world, Fernandez. Not bad. It was a short right to the jaw. Fernandez got up at 2 and was given the mandatory 8 count. Seconds later, Rubin connected with a right to the jaw that sent Fernandez over the bottom strand of the ropes. He knocked his ass out of the ring.
Punched him out with a combo.
Fernandez landed on his back and sprawled on the apron of the ring. The referee counted to 10, but Florentino couldn't hear a word as he was out cold.
Oh, boy.
Nowadays, they just rush in and fucking pick his ass up. He's out cold. We're not going to, unconscious. We're not going to bother counting anymore.
I'm counting to a man who doesn't even know where he is.
Yep. And they said it was about a minute before Fernandez could be revived and knew where the fuck, knew what was happening and knew he was in a boxing ring. He had no idea what was going on. So, he's really doing, they said the once iron-jawed Fernandez, it was the third knockout or technical knockout loss this year. So now he lost his jaw.
Yeah,
here.
it's over.
He's a 26-year-old Cuban refugee living in Miami. Had his nose broken and it was stopped by Dick Tiger. Okay, that was the last match. All right. So Carter is unranked, by the way, in the middleweight division here. He's hard
ranked now, right?
I would hope so. They said he would be an even money bet against the world ranking fighter here. They're talking about I guess he was given a big round of applause too. People liked him. Well, he knocked a guy out in the first round.
Yeah, that's worth the money.
Yeah, no shit. Now he's getting into politics.
Oh?
Yeah, 1962, November 1st, very, very local politics. He's throwing all his weight behind the election of 4th Ward Democratic Alderman Sam Hughes.
4th Ward? What, in fucking Louisiana?
I think it's in Patterson, New Jersey.
They got wards up there? I didn't know
everything's
that.
a ward. That's how they break up aldermans and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's how they break shit down for like financial districts and shit. And they spend this money here, that type of thing here. So he said, the Hurricane says, Hughes has demonstrated ability and capability as alderman in a few short months in office, and all my friends in my home ward will make it a hurricane for Hughes on election day.
Oh, boy.
They got him out there doing fucking slogans and shit. So November 2nd, 1962, all of a sudden now, with only 15 fights under his belt, he is now in the rankings. Now he's ranked. So he's Boxer of the Month, they called him. And apparently he is, they're saying it doesn't say where he is in the rankings. I'm trying to find it here. But either way, he's on the rankings now. It's only
if
10.
the other guy was third and he just beat him, wouldn't that put you second?
No, because that doesn't mean that you're better than the other guy that was third because you beat the third guy. That would drop the third guy down and maybe put you where he was, possibly.
God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So November 2nd, 1962, here, Paul Pender is offered a $50,000 guaranteed contract to defend his share of the world middleweight title against Rubin Carter. This is Carmen Tedeschi makes the offer here and then publicizes it too, calling the guy a pussy if he doesn't do it, basically. So, that's what they're saying here. He's recognized as champion by New York, Pender. New York, Massachusetts, and Europe. And Dick Tiger of Nigeria. Dick Tiger?
That's awesome.
Dick Tiger of Nigeria. Do you think that's his real name? Dick Tiger?
Well, I hope it's not Tiger Dick.
That'd be striped. He holds the WBA middleweight title. December 22nd, 1962 here. There's stuff comes out about him. Now, like, there's people are digging into his background. Like, what makes a Rubin Carter tick, you know?
Yeah, how do you get here?
Now he's kind of nationally famous. So now there's coming out that he had a hard life. They said, quote, hate, viciousness, and retribution have been his undoing in the streets. Violence in the ring has been his salvation. Fighting means independence, says Carter. It's given me the chance to get myself together and be just what I want to be, just another man in society. The things I did in the past are erased. At least people don't think about them as much. I don't consider myself a violent person if I'm not provoked. Okay.
Or the bell rings.
They said that he said, each and every chance I got, I stole, meaning when he was a kid. I can't remember how many times. There were so many of them. But the next time I got into trouble, I went to jail. And, he said the drunken fellow was an older man. He went for one of the kids. This is about an incident when he was the stabbing incident.
Right.
Then he went for me. I hit him on the head with a bottle. I had a knife in my pocket, and I stabbed him with the knife. And they said, how bad was the man hurt? This is in an interview. And Rubin said, to tell you the truth, I never found out. He didn't come to court. I never was much interested at the time how badly he was hurt. He said, that put me in the reformatory. I was supposed to stay until I got good, and then they let me come home. But I escaped when I was 17. You couldn't have had much more time to serve by then. They said, why didn't you wait rather than break out? And he said, I resented authority. I didn't care about anyone or anything. I was treated like dirt. And that's when he joined the Army. He said, when I came out of the service, I got a job. I was working in a factory as a foreman. I would have been all right, but when they picked me up, I lost everything. I had an I had animosity, this fucking newspaper, in my heart for everybody. I hated everybody. He said, I just wanted to hurt people. I just wanted to walk up the street and belt anybody I saw. Mm-hmm. So that's how he said, my history has been violence. My history is violence. That's a great...
It's not bad.
That's a good fucking... Wow. That sounds like an album title.
Yeah.
That's
Guns
good.
N' Roses.
History of violence. But I respect everyone. I demand respect in return. I don't want anybody to use me or abuse me. Fair. So he's doing boxing, which is the most used and abused athletes on the face of the earth.
That's exactly. He's like pimping himself out to promoters. But the history, yeah, I guess but you don't fight old men. I don't know. He's trying to justify what he does, but some of his shit, there were actual victims, man.
Yeah, he beat up old people and stole their watches and shit. Yeah. Stabbing a diddler's one thing.
Yeah,
don't care about that.
Taking $260 from an old lady ain't justified,
great.
Man.
She was 30, yeah, just some lady just stealing a purse or just purse snatching. That's fucking scumbag crackhead shit. So anyway, right under that in the newspaper is an attempt at 1962 humor, which is you're not going to get much better comedy than out of a 1962 newspaper.
What do they got?
Well, let's see. Florian J. Heiser, it's a bunch of little anecdotes. Florian J. Heiser of Cedar Lake, Indiana, won first prize in a 25 words or less contest on the topic of how I want my wife to dress for a party.
What did he write?
He should have won with the fuck do I care. Should have been. That should have been his ads. His
one word.
Quickly. Oh,
on
boy.
Time.
Real knee slapper. Then it goes on.
Is that what he wrote?
That was it. That's the anecdote.
Quickly?
Quickly. That's the comedic anecdote. That's the whole thing. He won a whole contest with quickly. A husband in Pasadena, California, who turned in an emergency police call, breathlessly asked for directions to St. Luke's Hospital, explaining, my wife's expecting a baby next week and I want to make a dry run. That's a joke. That's comedy.
He wanted the roads cleared? Is that what he wanted?
No. He wanted to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So he was that's why he was speeding, because he was practicing going fast and being.
So a cop pulled him over and he said, my wife's going to have a baby.
Next week. I'm just practicing.
I was qualifying. Yeah.
And that's a joke.
Great joke.
So good it needed to be explained a lot. Mrs. J. Dronsneck of Norwood, Manitoba, Canada, reports that a neighbor whose wife was away on vacation hung his weekly wash on the clothesline and turned a garden hose on it. That's how that's how he did his laundry.
Because she's not there. He doesn't know how it's done.
Oh my God.
I pine for the days of quickly.
Fuck me. Quickly, yeah. What happened to quickly? At least it was fucking brief.
At least I got it.
A Long Beach, California man sentenced to 5 days in jail for damaging telephone equipment explained to the court that he cut the phone because he was, quote, sick and tired of hearing my wife talk to her mother all day. That's a joke. Okay. Hardy har.
Yeah.
Those ladies talk to their moms a lot.
Women be talking.
Women be talking. And then finally, a small car driving through downtown Copenhagen with a large dent in a fender had this sign in big letters above it that reading, quote, it was my wife who did it.
And let a woman drive.
It's such a fun, just a misogyny break we just took there. That's great. Fucking hilarious. They're talking about all these articles there's tons of these articles about Rubin, about how he's skyrocketing up the ranks and just, my goodness, Jesus Christ, he's the next best thing ever. Next up, he fights what sounds like an English school marm. He fights a man named Holly Mims. HOLLYMIMS. Holly Mims, which sounds like definitely she teaches the 4th grade in a rural English school. You know what I mean? The kids sit out on the lawn and look at tulips and read poetry and shit. Holly Mims 59-23, Holly Mims is coming into this fight.
She's tough. Shit.
She's a tough broad here. This is at Madison Square Garden. Holly's not done, too. She'll win 68 fights before her career is through.
Christ.
This goes all 10 rounds, but Rubin wins a unanimous decision here.
Okay,
so
good.
Rubin was knocked down in round 4, actually. The first time I know of he's been knocked down, and he gets up on the count of 4, though. So he's 14-2. And now the Miami News, now we're getting to Miami, the newspaper. Yeah. Ex-convict Rubin Carter has makings of a champion.
They're really leaning into it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, now they're talking about he has taste in reading material ranging from comic books to philosophical works. But there's pretty much one school of thought on his fistic future, which sounds like something's wrong with your butthole. Fistic. He has a good chance of becoming middleweight champion. Yeah, there you go. Carter took time from his routine at Asians training camp the other day to discuss his past 5 years in reformatories and almost 5 more in state prison. His present, his future, they're talking about the ministry again. And they said they're likening him a lot to Sonny Liston, a hard hitter who's been to prison.
Yeah.
And he says, I like those comparisons.
That's a bad guy. Yeah.
It's good. We got 3 episodes out of him, too.
Yeah.
I'm glad they rate me with somebody as high as that, because back then Liston was a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
So they talk about him growing up in Patterson, and he says he likes to relax before a fight with comic books.
Really?
Yeah. He said, I've got a whole drawer full over there. I go to both extremes. I'm currently reading Introduction to the Philosophy of St. Thomas Aquinas, and also Aquaman.
A little bit of Archie.
Yeah. It's both. He says that, he said, I've been, also they said, what about your looks and all that? And he said, I've been shaving my head for the last 5 years. I like no hair. If it wasn't so cold up here, I have my head shaved now, because he was growing it in a little bit here. He says that he's been taking religious instruction from the Reverend C.L. Walker of Passaic, his minister. And he says, I won't fight forever. I would like to study for the ministry, but I've got to get a lot of things cleared up in my mind first. All this violence I want to just fucking...
Yeah, what I want to inflict on others.
Yeah, just put out into the world here. Yeah. They go on to plot of Rubin Carter's novel beginning to form is this next article.
Oh, he's going to write a book.
No, they're talking about the novel that is his life, because it's so crazy. This is the first line of this, quote, Rubin Carter is not a handsome fella. Well, gee, thanks a lot.
Well, you got Denzel to play him.
Jesus
Good
Christ.
work.
Handsome now, motherfucker.
Yeah.
When you say Rubin Carter, most people picture Denzel in their head, or Ving Rhames, both of which are handsome guys. You know what I mean?
Not bad-looking fellas.
He said, in fact, you might even say he is ugly and almost distasteful to look at. He's not ugly. I've looked at the guy. He's not an ugly man. He's fine.
Distasteful to look at, James.
There's not a hair on his cleanly shaven head, but there's plenty on his face, which is hidden by a beard and an unstable mustache. An unstable mustache.
One. Yeah, it might fall
It could
down.
go at any time. Could all fall out. For 24 years, Rubin Carter rambled through the Skid Row shambles of this world. No, he was middle class. That's another.
He did fine.
With only hate and violence on his mind. Most of the time, 10 years in fact, was spent in prison paying for a society for acts against it. Now Carter no longer walks the bloody sidewalks of the Skid Row. What?
What?
Wow, that is some
The only
newspaper
time he was
talk
down there was when he was robbing folks.
Yeah, he seemed to be wanting to be there. Yeah. He holds his head high, and occasionally you might find a smile breaking through that black of his beard. Rubin Carter, you see, is a man who has found a place for himself, a place where he can give respect, but expect and receive just as much. Rubin Hurricane Carter is a boxer. And then he says that he respects, they give the same quote of, my history has been one of complete violence and all that shit. Right. They said the inside people of boxing believe that Rubin Carter has a tremendous future in the fight game. They're talking about he's going to be a champ someday. Carter hopes that the public will forget the things of the past, but he's asking too much. The things are erased now as far as I'm concerned. That's the quote they give before. Rubin Carter never received a formal education. No, he was in reform schools from a very young age here. Yeah. Coming from the dark alley, the sun causes him to squint his eyes, and people saying "Mister" to him and reporters asking him questions are things to which he's slowly becoming accustomed. And there is more of that green folding stuff coming in. He dresses better now and orders a cocktail before his meals. Quote, "I found a place in society." Wow. They say the greatest novels of all time are not those conceived fictionally in the minds of writers, but the lives of men lived each day. The plot has began to take form in the novel of Rubin Hurricane Carter. Indication now is that the final chapter will be one that will warm your heart. Wow, they didn't have any.
Boy, did they swing and miss.
Talk about not prescient. Holy shit. One that will make you, Denzel will make you cry, is what they should say. Warm your heart because Carter believes, quote, "I've gained independence in fighting. It's given me a chance to get myself together and be what I want to be, just another man in society." So they didn't interview him for this article. They just used his other quotes and then editorialized on them.
And then just made a whole story about it.
Fuck. They say, but life has a strange, cruel way of twisting a novel by introducing strange, shady characters who would bring the sun from the sky for a fast buck. And the stage on which Rubin Carter is performing isn't one that is easy to gain a receptive audience. That stage on which holds the future of boxing has seen so many novels end with the star fading back into the alleys of Skid Row. Oh my God, the Skid Row, the bloody sidewalk. January 28th, 1962. They're talking about an upcoming TV fight with him. He's ready to go here. There we go. This is against Gomeo Brennan. Okay. Yeah. Gomeo Brennan. So he is like Argentinian and Irish. That's a strange mix there.
Is it not Mick Brennan?
What not make Brennan?
Is it just Brennan or is it Mick Brennan?
It's not Mick Brennan. I'm sorry. I thought you said does that not make Brennan? I was like, make Brennan? How do you make Brennan?
What are you saying, Whisman?
I was like, is that like an Irish stew or something? A Brennan that I don't know about? So he's 52-7-5 coming into this fight. Mm-hmm. That's a bad motherfucker, no matter what he is. So Madison Square Garden, this fight is, and he'll win 84 fights in his career, by the way. 84, 21-7. This fight goes all 10 rounds, and it is a unanimous decision win for Rubin.
How about it?
And he won it 9-1, 7-3, 8-1. So he beat the shit out of this guy.
What is he, 10-0 now?
Right now he is 15-2.
15-2. And he fought 60 fights in the Army, 55, whatever?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. But most of these guys, these amateurs, fight hundreds of amateur fights. Yeah. So it's kind of normal.
He's already at 70 fights at least.
Yeah, the thing with him is his age. He's just getting up there. But they say most of the excitement in the cat and mouse bout was provided by the ultra-cautious Brennan in the 9th round. A backpedaling, sidestepping, safety-first fighter all night, he nailed Carter midway in the round with a right to the jaw that sent the fierce-looking favorite staggering and dazed into the ropes. Yeah. It took Brennan about a second to realize what he had done. Then he tore in and flailed away with both hands, but he couldn't get in another real solid blow, and Carter snapped out of his daze. And they said that was this guy's last chance, and that was that. So March 30th, 1963, they say that Rubin Carter doesn't scare him anymore. That's the quote here.
Really?
Yes, they say he still looks as fierce as ever with his shaven head, drooping mustache, and bulging muscles, but Rubin Hurricane Carter doesn't scare the middleweights anymore. Jose Gonzalez, a 23-year-old Puerto Rican, says, "I think I can take him, and I maybe knock him out." That's what he says. So that'll be on ABC TV from Madison Square Garden. They said Carter has built up a terrific knockout record, and his boast that he could flatten any of the middleweights caused some of the other 160-pounders to shy away from him, but no more since his last 2 fights with Holly Mims and Guillermo Brennan, because he beat them both on decisions and didn't knock them out. So what? Tyson beat a couple people by decisions. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be afraid of his fucking hands in 1987. Yeah. He beat Bone Crusher Smith by decision. He beat Blood Green by decision. Larry Holmes.
The one I loved the most is that tall guy that he just obliterated with body blows and then
crumpled him.
And then the guy got back up for I don't know what reason, and then he almost exploded his whole head.
You don't know why those guys were getting back up.
I would never.
So next up, Jose Gonzalez, who's 23-7 coming in. So you've lost 7 fights and you're talking shit. That's kind of interesting. but it's at Madison Square Garden, and this fight is stopped because of a deep cut over Hurricane's right eye.
Oh, no.
A deep cut, which makes it a TKO loss for him, even though it stopped due to the cut.
Is he a bleeder?
Not till now, apparently. He got a real deep cut, probably a headbutt, I would assume, or an elbow. And you only get deep cuts in boxing from headbutts and elbows.
Yeah.
Gloves aren't sharp. Yeah. There's no bone in there, so it's harder to open up a forehead.
And then it keeps getting hit over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Those deep cuts, though, are usually they're just
accidental.
usually headbutts, or especially over the eye. Those are usually headbutts, or to get punched flush and bleed from over your eye is just not normal.
Not easy, yeah.
With a glove on. So anyway, he loses this fight, 6 rounds, TKO. And April 1st, 1963, Jesus Christ, this is a interesting headline. Gonzalez whips Rubin Carter. Let's not do that.
Don't say that.
And Customato calls him a boy. This isn't good. So they say that Jose Gonzalez was brilliant when he scored a TKO over Carter. Gonzalez, a windmill-type fighter, cut Carter over the right eye with a hard smash in the second round. Well, they say it was a punch. And blood continuously streamed from Hurricane's eye until the doctor, who was the ring physician, ordered the referee to stop the fight.
Okay.
Apparently Gonzalez, considered a powder puff puncher, was behind on points when it was halted. He just got one lucky shot and that made him bleed. Otherwise, he was going to win.
I guess that does a lot for being called
powder puff.
Yeah, if you just opened a man's fucking face.
Yeah. They said, I guess, he was still getting the shit beaten out of him by Hurricane. They said the Puerto Rican had just been staggered by a left hook to the head in the second round when he stormed back with a flurry of his own to the bloody Hurricane. So there you go. The doctor had made 4 trips to Carter's corner before he decided to call it. So there you go. Next up here, May 25th, 1963. Maybe the longest nickname of all time. George Benton. His nickname is George, the Mayor of North Philadelphia, Benton.
Yeah, just North Philadelphia.
Just North Philadelphia. He is 48-7 coming into this fight, so he's no joke. This is Madison Square Garden. It goes all 10 rounds again.
Wow.
And this fight, split decision win for Hurricane.
Great.
So now he's doing something there. He's also doing other things in his life. He's doing things. They say the muscular Mandarin mustachioed middleweight.
What is that?
Like a Chinese
Fu
Manchu.
Don't say that. Yeah.
Mandarin. Wow. The muscular Mandarin mustachioed middleweight.
Very orange chicken on this guy's face.
Wow. He's just full of beef and broccoli.
Old chow mein face.
Pork fried rice face over here. So he'll be recognized as a leading contender if he's successful in this one fight here. Carter, they said, is currently relaxing from the ring wars, but is busy getting his apartment in Clifton into shape so he and Theodora Bosket of Passaic, his bride-to-be, can move in after their wedding on June 15th and their honeymoon to Bermuda. So he's apparently planning on getting married here. The manager, though, says there's a chance that Rubin may have to cut his honeymoon short. I've been told that Fulmer may not go through with that bout. In that event, Rubin would cut short his honeymoon. He would be ready to take Fulmer's place against Tiger. Tiger's the guy, the other middleweight champion.
Yeah.
So they say 3 stars from this section will be among the top entries in this. Okay. So 1963, he marries May Thelma Basket.
Yeah, not Thelma May.
May Thelma Basket, and then has a daughter named Theodora.
Oh.
After that. So the marriage is dissolved, and he marries Lisa Peters, who then they get separated too.
Okay.
So the Ring magazine first listed him as one of the top 10 middleweight contenders in July of 1963. So he's legit here, and he's also got problems. July 27th, 1963, fighter Carter faces 5 charges.
What are they?
He's arrested shortly after 1 p.m. by Police Lieutenant Aurelia Rega for contempt of court. Rega had chased Carter on July 5th and forced him to the curb at Madison and Getty Avenues. He gave Carter a summons to court for speeding, and Carter was to have appeared before the magistrate. Rega saw Carter on the street yesterday and took him to police headquarters where he was booked on contempt charges. He posted $30 bail and is scheduled for a hearing. He'll also be tried on 3 previous motor vehicle summonses that he did not answer.
Oh, he's a terrible driver.
He's a terrible driver, just doesn't go to court for shit. Doesn't do it. So they say August 27th, 1963, Rubin Carter may seek triple win. They say here in America's oldest fight camp, Ancient Charlie Goldman is training Rubin Hurricane Carter, whom Charlie picks to do the Fitzsimmons triple. Okay. The great Bob Fitzsimmons won the world middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight crowns, not in that order. Goldman has said that he's going to do the same thing. I don't know how he's going to be a heavyweight from 160, but good luck for that shit.
Let's go, yeah.
This Goldman has already trained 5 world title holders, Rocky Marciano, Al McCoy, Marty Servo, Lou Ambers, and Joey Archibald. And the biscuit-faced little man, what does that even mean? I don't even know. What does biscuit-faced mean? Wow. The little man, veteran and participant of nearly 400 old-time bouts, said, quote, I'm positive that Carter will be at least my 6th champion and quite likely my 7th and 8th. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So he's got a new manager apparently here.
And his manager is a biscuit face?
He's a biscuit-faced old man. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so. Remarkably, the well-built Rubin with the shaven head and drooping black pirate's mustache. So is he Chinese or a pirate? Take your fucking pick already. Which one? Charlie Chan or Johnny Depp? Which one are we talking about here?
But it's kind of like a Virgil Earp mustache is what it is.
It's it's known as a Fu Manchu, which I get with their, that's the whole thing.
It's a lot of hair for what it is.
It's a big old thick fucking, it's an Old West stash kind of deal.
Big bendy caterpillar.
Yeah, here. So they talk about that, and so he wants a fight with Dick Tiger, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
Clearly. Now the manager, Carmen Tedeschi, wealthy 41-year-old building contractor of Saddlebrook, New Jersey, a daily visitor here at camp, explained, I'm offering Tiger a guarantee of $75,000 to defend against Rubin, and in spite of all the big talk some others are making, I don't know any place else where Tiger can get $75,000 in money, not words.
Yeah.
No one wants to see this bum fight. If he wants $75,000,
dick,
he'll come to my fucking place and do it. He predicts that he's going to beat this next guy. Rubin does. He's making predictions, and he's getting cocky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goldman says that Rubin's in the best shape of his career. That's the biscuit-faced man, his trainer.
Yeah, right.
He said he's hitting harder now than ever. He said, and I feel he's nearing the peak of his career. Let's hope not. He's not there yet.
Yeah.
He said he has the power of Liston, the speed of Joffrey, and the brains of Ray Robinson. He'll be champion just as soon as Tiger consents to step into the ring with him. So they are cocky.
No kidding.
His next fight, though, is against, it's on September 14th, 63, Fareed Turquito Salim. This is a 38-4 fighter, so a very good fighter. Civic Arena, Pittsburgh. Unanimous decision again win for
He's doing great.
Rubin. But, no more knockouts like he was getting against some of the tomato can guys. Right. They talk about, what a great fight he had and how great he is. Okay, October 25th, 1963. He is favored by 2-1.
Great.
In his next fight against Joey Archer. A whip jabber, they call him. Jabber. He's a jabber. Yeah. That's all. The fight won't be telecast because the time has been preempted for a special show on the ABC network. Oh. Since the colorful Carter, Paterson, New Jersey, and Archer, New Yorker, are re-rated, what does that say? Re-rated pretty good box office attractions. Re-rated? The fuck does that mean?
Don't look at me.
The Garden decided to experiment again with without the magic lantern. The last time the Garden went without TV, it had a magnetic Cassius Clay as the prime lure.
Yeah,
against
people in there for sure.
Heavyweight contender Doug Jones. It sold out the big arena, attracting 18,732 people who paid $104,943 to see it. Interesting. So the Garden will settle for $40,000 this time, with the fighters guaranteed $7,500 each. $7,500 each.
Yeah. Win or lose, everybody gets the same pay?
Everybody gets that, and then the winner gets more, but they're each guaranteed a base of $75. You got to be able to pay your training fees and shit.
Not bad.
So they said Carter is the number 1 ranked middleweight contender in the world based on his 17-3 record. Here, Carter tries to frighten his opponents with his appearance as well as his punch. He has a shaved head and sports a lush, drooping mustache. Jesus. He predicted he's going to knock Archer out within 5 rounds. Okay. All right. Interesting. Let's see how he does here. What do you say? I guess he's number 6, Archer is rated. He's 45-4 coming in. Or he's 45-4 career. He's 36-1 coming in, Archer.
Oh, he's
not
very
bad.
Good. Yeah.
Madison Square Garden goes all 10 rounds, split decision loss for Carter.
Oh, no.
This fight's as close to even as you're going to get. The refs scored at 4-5, 5-4, 4-6.
Ouch.
So he won one of them and lost close on the other. So this is a very close fight, obviously. They call it a big upset, though. He was favored 2-1, and they call Joey Archer the handsome pride of the Bronx. He's very handsome. Next up, December 20th, 63, he fights Emil Griffith, who's a famous fighter. 38-4, Griffith is, and this is at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. He wins by TKO, Rubin does, with a first-round knockout of Emil Griffith.
Yeah.
And Emil Griffith, you'd think, 38-4, maybe he's at the end of his career. Right. He goes on to be 85-24-2.
Wow.
Nowhere near the end of his career. So
No.
18-4 for Rubin. So, they say that proves that he's a real contender now and all this type of shit. So he remained in the lower part of the top 10 until December 20th when he surprised the boxing world by flooring past and future champion Emil Griffith twice in the first round and scoring a TKO. So that made the Ring magazine rank him as the number 3 contender for the middleweight title. The Telegraph in the UK, the publication, said he's a top drawer middleweight driving a customized Cadillac.
Oh.
I guess he's driving a Cadillac now.
Hell yeah.
Living it up, yeah. He gets honored by the New Jersey Boxing Writers Association. Will honor him as the Fighter of the Year.
Wow.
In New Jersey, anyway.
Yeah.
So,
But
he's the number 1 contender here. Here's a weird article from the Herald News, February 5th, 1964. Rubin Carter's mustache may frighten new daughter.
What is that?
Why are everyone so obsessed with this man's fucking mustache?
Focused on the mustache.
This is so weird. They said Rubin here. That they're talking about boxing. I want to get to
What year is this?
1963.
Oh, evidently you couldn't have a mustache in 63.
Apparently, I guess when he visited his wife in the hospital and saw the baby, he put his hands over his
mustache,
over his mouth, and his wife said, "What the hell's wrong with your mouth?" And he said, "I don't want this mustache to maybe scare her." And he says he's a student of psychology, and he admits that he wears the mustache to help frighten his opponents, just because it makes him look meaner.
Yeah, does facial hair do that? I guess so,
I mean, I don't see if you're a professional boxer, facial hair probably making a big difference. But I guess it makes him look a little bit meaner. Probably more than that, it makes him feel tougher is probably what it is. Yeah. I look in the mirror, I see this, I feel like a tough son of a... I feel like Virgil Earp over here, you know?
It is a specific mustache.
Yeah, it's very specific. So his wife said when she grows up a little, she might not be scared at all. She might even admire it. So maybe do that. And he said, well, until we know whether she's scared or not, we'll leave the whiskers for then and then until we find out for sure.
Okay.
So that's pretty fucking funny. He says now Rubin Carter fights for ailing boys. He's going to hold a public sparring session to benefit 3 ailing North Hudson youths. So one is a 4-year-old with leukemia.
What's he going to do? Punch cancer?
One had it for money. It's to raise money. So people,
In 63, we're going to look for a treatment for this poor kid?
For
Jesus
leukemia,
Christ.
and one who's recovering from surgery for an open heart ailment, and one who suffers from a, quote, rare cancer disease.
These kids are so dead. Jesus Christ.
Well, the open heart kid, he's got a chance because they were working on hearts a lot.
Yeah.
But cancer, you're about fucking 50 years off from anybody getting anything on that. You're fine.
I'm so sorry, young man.
You are fucked and double fucked. So, okay. This is funny, by the way. Right under this, teachers get a spanking bill, it says as the headline.
Yeah.
From Atlanta, the hand of discipline applied to the seat of learning met with approval of Georgia legislators yesterday. The lower chamber, on an overwhelming 115-1 vote, approved a bill which would safeguard teachers who administer spankings from civil or criminal lawsuits. Beat strangers' children, and you're allowed
You
to.
can't be sued. Yeah.
So they had one person who was sane in the entire fucking state legislature? What the fuck?
That's where we are. And I'm sure I'm sure we're fighting that tooth and nail.
Jesus Christ. February 28th, 1964, Jimmie Ellis, he fights 14-2 coming in.
That's me.
That's you. Well, almost. He
That is
fights
me.
him.
That's my name.
With a Y, and he's not a Whisman. So this is at Madison Square Garden. And this goes all 10 rounds. Unanimous decision win for Rubin here.
Yeah.
So he gets it 19-4 here. And he says he doesn't want the champion. He wants Archer. He wants to fight this other guy. He said, I want Archer. This time I can guarantee he won't stay in there. I won't say I'll knock him out, but he won't be in the ring at the end of the 10th round. Where the fuck's he going to go?
Everybody on his way up is what he wants. He wants to beat everybody so that when he is the champ, all these guys can't contend with him, right?
I think also he's angry if he loses to somebody he wants to beat them. So that's the other thing. I think he's pissy. Then right after that, there's an article that he and Tedeschi break it off.
Oh, no more, huh?
No more at all. They said in any event, Carter now with Lou Duva, as we know, who's around forever. Lou Duva here, he's going to fight somebody with him as his manager. Carter, who lives on Highland Avenue in Passaic, has not fought before his hometown fans since gaining national prominence. He's had one fight this year. Okay, but he said that Carter and Tedeschi were not available for comments on their breakup. Interesting. So they're going to be...
I don't know why. We're in the dark why they don't talk.
They said Tedeschi failed to renew his contract with Rubin Carter, is what one guy said, and now it's too late for him to do so. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know any of that, but however the fuck it goes, May 9th, 1964, the New York Ring Commission suspends Rubin Carter.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Hurricane to appear before board Monday to straighten out troubles. They said that he has an appointment with the New York State Athletic Commission he hopes will lift an indefinite suspension. He's ranked third in his division. He said they said he felt the anger of the commission Friday when he was penalized for failing to show up at a third request for a hearing on his dispute with manager Carmen Tedeschi. So something with him breaking a contract, or I don't know what it is.
He's not showing up to talk to the commission, so they're
going to suspend him. They said the commission wants Carter to explain his troubles with Tedeschi and lifted the fighter's license for acts detrimental to the best interest of boxing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What the come on. There's murderers. The fucking promoters are robbing these people blind. Nothing is in the best interest of boxing.
They're allowing Jake Paul to do what he does.
That's what is the best interest of boxing? That's fucking ridiculous. The fighter claims the manager broke off the agreement, and the manager says the fighter broke off the agreement. So that's how it goes. He claims the manager says he holds a Carter contract that was drawn up after the old one expired, and it's on file with the commission, but Carter claims the new contract was never notarized and isn't legal because Tedeschi did not swear to it before the commission. So he says he's a free agent and he can do whatever he wants. We'll see what happens here.
Are they going to honor that?
Well, they say that he's got a new manager, so I mean, he's got to be doing something. Tedeschi says is planning legal action, but he's got a new manager, Pat Amato. So you got some other guinea to train him now. Who he managed. This guy manages Frank DePaula. I'm sorry, manage, not train. Yeah. And Rubin Carter now. And Amato immediately signed Rubin, the world's leading middleweight contender, to a 4-year contract. And he says he's going to make him a champ. Tedeschi says, I have a 5-year civil contract with Rubin, and I have a 2-year contract in New York. They won't let me pick his fights, but I'm still entitled to a cut of his purses. So now he wants to do no work but be given money.
Yeah.
Which is where boxing gets fucking shady as shit. Yeah. They said that one of his lawyers said, I believe, that Tedeschi has devoted himself faithfully and loyally to his boxer. And so he says he should get something out of this. I guess they're arguing over what the cut would be of the fight here, apparently.
Should be 10%, right?
Yeah, well, Tedeschi says, ask Rubin who paid for his first car and who paid for his wedding. Okay. Now, Amato is a guard at the Hudson County Penitentiary, so his new manager's a prison guard. Also announced he signed a new 4-year contract with DePaula, a leading light heavyweight prospect from New Jersey. He said, I think Rubin will be a good influence on Frank's training. Rubin is a hard worker, and Frank always has looked up to him. Who fucking cares? Okay, so Rubin is going to fight in Los Angeles now, by the way.
Great.
And now Tedeschi's saying he thinks that they're going to have they're going to get back together again.
Sure.
Yeah, a reconciliation of sorts is what he's talking about here. Yeah, reunited, and it feels so good. So Pat Amato says, I don't think they're going to be reunited. He said I
got a contract with the guy.
Well, Tedeschi says Pat Amato's not even licensed in New Jersey and has been refused a managerial license by the California Commission because he's under investigation in New York. He said, I doubt whether he'll be with Rubin very long. Listen, this guy's a jerk-off is what's going on here. Yeah. So he fights Clarence James, 9-3-1, in this is in the LA Sports Arena, which was a big fucking arena back then. This fight is June 24th, 1964. First round knockout. He knocked the guy down once, and he got up, and the ref waved it off because he was wobbly. Yeah. So they're obsessed with his head, obsessed with his fucking head. Here's
his face?
His face and head. Yeah. Intelligencer Journal article. Carter, who began to shave his head in prison, is the kind of guy who, if you saw him coming, you'd cross the street.
Jesus.
Yeah, he looks in shadow as if he belonged to the Tower of London with a head mask and an axe in his hand. He's an executioner, apparently.
He looks like that guy in The Wire that would say "shit."
Yeah, he kind of looks like Clay Davis a little bit. Yeah. Clay Davis with a shaved head and a fucking handlebar mustache. Right. That's all.
It's not scary.
He's not ugly or scary, but there's you put a mustache on anybody back then, it was a big fucking deal. They said in the ring he glowers, but actually he's kind of mischievous and good-humored young man whose home life is kind of a 3-ring animal act, which includes a buckskin mare, hunting dogs, birds, rifles, and a yacht. The kind that needs oars, he says. He calls it his yacht. A daughter and also a Lincoln and a Cadillac.
Oh, he's got both.
He's got both. He's made it, man. He's made it. So they're talking about what money he's going to make, recently. But back then, the money wasn't the same. This is kind of interesting. They said the money figured to be a biggest stumbling block to staging the bout in Las Vegas Convention Center, where a recent welterweight championship bout grew a gross of $39,000. Okay. Less than half the amount necessary for the Silver State Sports Club to break even under the demands of these fighters.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's the problem. You have to make a certain amount of money to be able to pay these people because there isn't pay-per-view money or anything like there is now.
Yeah, but can't the heavyweight bout subsidize this fight?
Well, there's not enough. It's not a big enough place to. That's the most money you can draw there. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but there's not enough. The money was different back then.
Yeah,
like way fucking different. So that's wild. They didn't even.
You want money? It's got to draw and make money. That's how. Yeah. That's how business works.
Well, like in the 70s, then you'd have it on like Wide World of Sports or be on like on a network television at night. So that would pay a bunch of money, and and it would be. But this is just the gate you're getting if it's not televised in any way, shape, or form. So. They're talking about the champion wants $55,000. So if it grossed $39,000,
what about the other guy?
Yeah, what about nobody's getting shit here? So October 2nd, 1964, court issues warrant for Rubin Carter.
Why?
Well, the bench warrant's been issued for his arrest on the charge of assault and battery.
Who'd he beat up?
No more traffic problems here. The detective William Neeson of the Patterson Police Department was uncertain, however, whether any attempt would be made to extradite Carter from Las Vegas. This guy said, all I know is that there's a warrant issued for Carter on September 28th, and that one Miles Alexander made the complaint. Alexander, who's 30 years old, claimed he was hit in the face by Carter during a brawl on July 2nd at a place called the Night Spot, a local tavern. This guy was hospitalized following the altercation because he got hit by a fucking welterweight
boxer,
a middleweight boxing contender. Yeah. So in Las Vegas, Carter vehemently denied any knowledge of the arrest warrant or the brawl with Alexander. He said that he's training at the El Cortez Casino. Ooh, that's a shithole in Las Vegas. It's gone now. That's where it is. I don't even think it exists anymore. I think it was one of those ones like outside the. Oh no, that is the. I know exactly where the El Cortez was. That was on the old strip.
It has to be because the new strip is much newer than that.
But I thought it was one of the casinos that was on the outskirts that wasn't even on the strip.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like the Klondike was or something that's like out there on its own. You know what I mean? So
it still exists.
It still exists. The El Cortez. Okay,
yeah, it's on Fremont.
Yeah, it's a fucking dump.
Yeah, of course. It's on Fremont.
It's on Fremont. We know it's a dump. But back then, that was Vegas. There was no new strip. That was the strip.
That's awesome.
So October 28th, 1964, Rubin Carter, angry young man is the headline.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, it says, if Rubin Carter had beaten Joey Garridello in the title match that didn't come off, he would have had to make his first 3 defenses for a corporation owned by the middleweight champion's lawyers. That would seem enough to ignite any man, and Carter is as volatile as he is colorful. He has pleaded innocent and posted $5,000 bail to a charge of atrocious assault and battery.
Atrocious kind, yeah.
Wow, they threw a fucking adjective in there like a bastard, which was not the first time he has been accused of a violent offense outside of the ring as in it. At the age of 11, he saw a reformatory. Yeah, there you go. So they talk about all of that, and they say now, he says, I don't value nothing in this world above my manhood, is what he said.
Okay.
They said, why? I asked him at the time, don't you see a psychiatrist? And he said, maybe I should go to a psychiatrist, but I'm scared because of what he may say. He said, I'm so angry. And they were like, why don't you go see a psychiatrist? And he's like, I don't know.
They're going to put me on drugs and commit me. I'm fucking nuts.
Well, yeah, no shit. Then he's going to start telling me shit's wrong. That's a fucking rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
I got enough work just punching this bag.
Oh, you know how much he's going to find? I need this anger. This helps me make a living. He said, I've tried to analyze myself, but it seems to me as if I'm making it up because it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what people do. Right. He said he's a moody person, given to periods of melancholy, yet he's also a flamboyant person who wears iridescent suits, rakish colored berets, shaves his head, and sports a Genghis Khan-type mustache. Fu Manchu, Mandarin, Genghis Khan, just the fucking list goes on and on and on.
And the amount of times they call him colorful feels racist also.
He's colorful.
There's a lot of adjectives. Is it adjectives? I don't
when
know,
he wears a red suit, he's all black and red. He's colorful.
I don't like it.
He's all colorful. He said, I get into melancholy moods, most of the times when it's cloudy out or something like that.
You know, depressive
like
weather.
A normal person?
Yeah.
I go home and put on my records and listen to them, but then that drives me out of the house because it makes me feel worse. When you're moody, they ask him, when you're moody, what do you think about? And he said, I think that if you put your traps out right then, you're going to make it out all right. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
And the guy said, you make it sound like a jungle. And he said, life is a jungle. Nothing but a jungle.
Welcome to it.
Welcome to it. If you don't watch out, some cat's going to jump down out of a tree and eat you up.
Oh.
Out of a tree, for Christ's sake. He thought for a moment about his answer, and he said, don't make that symbolic. He smiled at his use of the word, but Carter does not surprise when he employs language Mom would ordinarily not expect from him. He reads a lot for one who gets most of his education in reformatory schools and prison schools. However, Rubin is not a symbolic person. There's a little unreal about him in the way he has fashioned his life or built himself into a leading contender in 24 professional fights. Terrific. Okay. He says, I wasn't surprised. He talks about the fucking deal. He keeps talking about this very confusing deal he's made with his manager and all that kind of shit. And he said that he doesn't want to do business with these other people. He said there had been rumors, of course, that in the event that Carter would be tied hand and foot to Giardello, who had in his past been linked to Frankie Carbo and Tony Bananas, which is or gangsters. Yeah, and he said they could have Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly behind them, but we do business only with Nationwide Sports. Okay. So he's it's him and this Giardello who are going to sign for a title bout here. So big deal. He's ready to try to get the title. December 14th, 1964. This is for the WBA World Middleweight title and the WBC World Middleweight title.
Okay, 2 belts.
Joey Giardello, whose birth name is Carmine Orlando Tellelli.
So why did
Joey Giardello.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Whatever.
Sounds more American Italian. I don't know. Yeah. 93, 23, and 8 coming into this fight.
My God.
Holy shit. This guy has fought so fucking much.
And he's the champ.
Yeah. They said in the 4th round, Carter landed a few solid rights to the head that left Giardello staggering, but was unable to follow them up, and Giardello took control of the fight in the 5th round. This goes all 15 fucking rounds.
Jesus God.
15 rounds. That's what title fights used to be back then.
Yeah.
And it's a unanimous decision loss for Rubin.
He can't win.
Nope, and he didn't too. He lost them all by a good few rounds here. Yeah. He's now 20-5, and after this fight, his rankings in the ring start to decline and go down. Yeah. Carter says that he won the fight and wants a rematch. No. He says he won the fight.
No, you didn't.
He says, now Joey Giardello said, I won. My wife's pregnant with our 4th child. He's a tough fighter. I'm going to go home and rest for a week.
That's what Giardello.
I got 4th kid? Jesus Christ. Rubin Carter said, I won clear. Giardello's a likable fellow. I'd like to get him in the ring again. I'm going to grow my beard again, and I'm going to go on a vacation to Bermuda.
Oh.
Okay. So that's what happened here. I guess the judges, it was a 70-67, 71-66, 72-66.
Not really that close.
Not that close. Few rounds off, and everybody who watched it seemed to be the way it goes.
Very convinced also,
but Carter said that I won 9 rounds to 6. That's the way he thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. He said, I thought I won 9-6, but I guess not. Carter said, quote, if I pressed him anymore, he would have had to walk on top of the ropes. He would have needed a scooter, because Giardello said that he made the challenger fight my fight, and it made it easier for him. And Rubin said, no, I pressed it to him. That's not what I want. He said he asked if he felt like crying since he lost and earned, but he only got $10,000. As opposed, the whole gate was $85,245. He should have got, if he won, he would have got like $40,000. Mm-hmm. He said, others will cry for me. My wife and baby will cry. Someone has to hold their head up in this family. I guess I'll have to do it.
Oh, my God.
A fucking weird comment here. Very weird. Giardello is 34 years old, by the way. That's fucking interesting. January 4th, 1965. Now he's going to fight a British boxer instead here. Okay. He's going to fight Mick Leahy. He's going to fight. His name isn't Mick Leahy, which is the most Irish name of all time. Mick Leahy. Mick
This
Leahy.
Might be more Irish and kind of racist.
Yeah. Hey, Mick.
Something.
His name is like Johnny the Mick Leahy. You know what I mean? That's what I think it is here. This is a 10-round fight. It's going to be at Royal Albert Hall. So we're doing the whole deal.
Yeah.
We're going to do it super British. And I guess it replaces a different fight that was supposed to be on the card here. Yeah. January 23rd, 1965. Title or headline, jury refuses to act against Rubin Carter. A Passaic County grand jury has refused to indict him on charges of atrocious assault and battery. We felt it was not as atrocious as the cops felt it was.
Maybe kind of acceptable, to be honest.
You know, we figure that's how it goes here. They said that the 2 complaints stemmed from separate nightclub incidents.
He did it twice.
There was
in
2
one
of these.
Night?
Yes. The grand jury apparently weighed and found not applicable a state law providing that a boxer who attacks another person with his fists may be charged with atrocious assault and battery rather than simple assault. That's why they say simple, because it's simple or atrocious. One of the 2. February 12th, 1965, Luis El Feo Rodriguez, he fights. 57-4 coming into this fight. And he almost has a pretty similar career after that. He ends up being 107-13.
My God.
Wow. This is at Madison Square Garden, and it's a 10-round fight, and it goes the whole distance, and Rubin loses again by unanimous decision.
The man has fought 120 fights in his career. And he won 107 of them?
That's a lot, yeah. 107-13 total. I mean, it's a good fighter.
No
experienced fighter, knows what he's doing.
Great career.
So now they're saying Rubin's going to fight in Paris.
Oh.
Carter, third-ranking contender for the middleweight title, will fight Fabio Bettini, an Italian living in France.
Okay.
So next up, February 22nd, 65, Fabio Bettini, 20-11-7 coming into this fight. Okay. This is at the Palais des Sports in Paris, so the Palace of Sports. Yeah. This is goes all 10, or I'm sorry, not all 10. It goes into the 10th round of a 10-round fight where Rubin knocks him out in the 10th round.
Take that.
Wow. Got him at the end of the fight. Good for him. So 21-6 for Rubin here. Now, March 6, 1965, he's bragging. Rubin says that he's going to fight Harry Scott, who's a Liverpool middleweight. And he says if it lasts more than 2 or 3 rounds, basically someone's going to get knocked out.
Oh.
Early. They'd be very surprised if someone's not knocked out by the 4th round. Is what it is. They describe Carter with his shaven skull and long, drooping black mustache is an awesome figure. That's fucking hilarious. I love that. His physique is as near perfect as makes no difference, and he has the bicep and shoulder development of a heavyweight. He is. He does look strong like that.
So impressive. Yeah,
he's got a strong.
Muscles are incredible too.
Yeah, he's a big, strong dude. Yeah. Let's see. This is they're talking about. That man hits harder than anybody I've ever come across. Mm-hmm. George Hollister said, a husky London meat porter.
What is that?
I guess he takes meat places. I don't know, a meat delivery person.
Right.
He said the punches come at you from all angles and every one of them hurts. And that was only in sparring that he said he fought with him. Then the next thing is reformed, it says. And they say, I found this man Carter, aptly nicknamed Hurricane, on account of his demeanor in the ring, a fascinating character. He was witty, intelligent, and altogether a much more engaging person than advanced publicity would have had us believe, because he's never been to England. They don't know him. Right. He has served a jail sentence. He makes no attempt to hide the fact or to act like he's a completely reformed character. I am prepared to believe him on that score, and I am also prepared to believe him that he will soon be champion of the world if given another chance by Joey Giardello. Wow. With ambition still burning so brightly, Carter cannot afford to slip up against Scott, and I'm quite certain he will not do so. This guy's making proclamations here.
No shit.
Carter continues to say that he was robbed in the title fight.
Okay.
Continue to say robbed. So March 9th, 1965, Harry Scott is the fighter, 22-14-4. He'll finish his career 39-34-6, by the way. Jesus, that's not good. Royal Albert Hall, this is a 10-round fight. Goes into the 9th round where Rubin TKOs Scott and wins the fight.
Yeah.
22-6 for Rubin, and he's very excited about knocking out him. Rematch, though, April 20th.
Here we go.
So that's
this guy again?
A month later, they have a rematch, which is super weird. And this fight goes all 10 rounds. Scott is knocked down for a 5 count in the first round, so it looks like it's going to be over quick. Ends up going all 10 rounds, and Rubin loses on points.
You knocked him down in the first round and you gave up the rest of the fight?
Fuck, man, that's insane. That's fucking wild. Now, during his visit to London to fight Scott, Carter was involved in an incident in which a gunshot was fired in his hotel room.
Oh, no.
Which is...
Into his hotel room or was fired?
Inside his hotel room.
Yeah,
there was a gunshot fired. Yeah. That is not good. I guess they said they kept calling it a hometown decision that gave Scott the victory here. And that happened a lot. Obviously, they said it left British commentators divided and the American camp furious. Pat Amato, the manager, said, "We will never come back to Britain. I have never seen such a disgraceful decision in my life."
No kidding.
Wow. I guess that it seemed like he dominated. He said, "I thought I won just about every round," he said.
Sure.
The AP, Associated Press, gave Carter the first, fourth, seventh, eighth, and ninth rounds, with Scott taking the second, third, and sixth, and the rest even. So that would have given Carter the win, too. I guess 30 seconds after the opening bell is when he first knocked him down.
That's fast.
Yeah. A veteran correspondent of the Daily Mirror said, the Americans certainly didn't win all 10, but I thought he did enough to merit the verdict. So, April 27th, 1965, Carter is trying to do, they say that he has a flair for knocking guys down in the boxing ring. He also has an uncanny knock of getting into trouble with cops in Patterson, his hometown. Both subjects were afraid at length by the Hurricane, his manager Pat Amato of Jersey City and Patterson promoter Lou Duva, and reporters at a press conference yesterday at Fifth Avenue. Okay, Amato wanted to cry on reporters' shoulders about Rubin's loss by decision to George Scott. Duva wanted to beat the drums for Friday night's 10-round middleweight match between Carter and Johnny Torres, and Carter spent a great deal of time explaining his side of a story concerning a raid early Saturday. Patterson police charged a crap game was going on and threw Carter in jail for a few hours before Duva, who also happens to be a bail bondsman, bailed him out of jail.
Wow.
That's
lucky.
Amazing. That's actually a really good promoter to get for Rubin, a bail bondsman promoter. Yeah. Rubin said there was no crap game going on while I was in there. I just dropped in to see a few of my friends. When the cops came, they saw Rubin Carter and decided to make a big thing out of it. Right. They're out to bug me. I used to be a scoundrel. Maybe that's why they still have it in for me. Maybe that's why also we have crime and sports rule number 3, never go home.
Don't go back.
If you've already fucked up and now you're super famous and they know who you are,
right?
Leave it alone.
You're recognizable. You can be seen. Don't do that.
Don't get the fuck out of here, man. He said, though, despite his brush with the police, Carter's in a good mood and he sparred verbally with reporters. He said, I can't let Sonny outdo me, talking about Sonny Liston getting arrested.
Yeah,
I need to get arrested as much as him, haha. I can't let him be the only guy with a crime and sports episode in 50 fucking years, in 60 years. Someone asked how the Hurricane liked the English bobbies, the cops there, and he said, a lot better than the Patterson bobbies. They didn't fucking arrest me, even though a gunshot went off in my fucking room.
Yeah, there was gunplay, for Christ's sake.
That is wild. I don't know. They never found out more to that of why the fuck there was gunplay in his room, but apparently there was gunplay in his room. Odd shit. So they said, here's another paper article that says, this is fucking interesting. Carter is a trouble guy. I guess he gets picked up for disorderly conduct every month or so. The fact that he's a cop hater doesn't help him. In that respect, he's much like Sonny Liston, the former heavyweight champion of the world. Sonny has a persecution complex going for him. He hates everyone. Never occurs to him that many regard him as a yellow belly because he quit to Cassius Clay. Jesus. Chicken. Where's Carter? Oh, yes, the one big news organization, or the one big organization which has faith in him beating Torres within an inch of his life is the Madison Square Garden Corporation. Without waiting to make sure that he gets by Torres, Garden officials announced May 20th bout between Carter and Dick Tiger, the former middleweight champion. Carter, a mustachioed middleweight, is a slugger who hasn't been winning often. Lost a decision to Harry Scott in London last week. It goes on. So Johnny Torres. This is at the Armory in Patterson, a long way from Madison Square Garden. Torres 18, 24, and 6 in his career. This is goes to the 8th round TKO win for Rubin.
Here we go.
There we go. 23 and 7 here. So here we are in 1965, May 12th, 1965. So 2 weeks after this fight, Rubin Carter is cleared of most charges.
What ones?
He goes into municipal court on 5 charges of assault, disorderly conduct, and gambling. Mm-hmm. But he's only fined, you, sir, may fuck off $25. Okay. That's it for all of that stuff.
Yeah.
That is for, they dismissed the disorderly conduct charge, and this was for the gambling establishment arrest, for being in a gambling establishment.
For being there, okay.
They also found him innocent of assault and battery and disorderly conduct. These are complaints stemming from separate fights that he got into with people. Another disorderly conduct charge against Carter and sparring partner Clay, 28 of Brooklyn, was withdrawn. So there's another I guess they beat the shit out of somebody. They fight each other all day, then they go out and beat somebody else up.
Beat other people, yeah.
Yeah, so they're talking about he's going to have a fight coming up. He's got so much fucking problems. And then finally they say he's been ordered to shave off his drooping Mandarin-type mustache.
What?
For his fight with Nigeria's Dick Tiger at Madison Square Garden.
By the boxing commission?
By Dick Tigers himself said it. I won't fight a man with a mustache. The ruling was made by Frank Morris, chief deputy of the State Athletic Commission, after a protest by Tiger's handlers. Tiger said he'd been told in the gym by Johnny Torres, a recent knockout victim of Carter, that Carter uses the mustache as a weapon in clinches. I don't know. I guess you could you could make the skin thinner.
Irritate people with it? I don't know. Is it thick and bristly?
I mean, yeah, but still, Carter was pissed off, obviously. He said, quote, you know what? Let's do it in their own words to end this out here. This will be about the end of it, and then we'll save Dick Tigers.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll save the drama of Dick Tiger for next week here. But let's see here. Okay, here we go. In their own words, quote, first they make me shave my goatee. Now they want to take away my personality. I don't have any hair on my head because I shave it. If I take off the mustache, I won't have any hair left. Remember what happened to Samson when they clipped him? I don't want that to happen to me.
Very biblical. He's got
when they clipped him, like he got his balls cut off.
Right. They carry all my strength in my mustache.
Holy shit. So there we go. That is Rubin Carter, part 1. And we're
carrying his strength in his mustache.
Strength is all in his mustache. He's got to shave it. He's going to fight Dick Tiger. And we are going to do this next time. And then things are going to get very, very weird for Rubin Carter after that. So Dick Tiger is where we will leave off on May 20th, 1965. There you go. If you like this show, tell everyone about it, please. Tell the world. Get on whatever app you're listening on and give us a nice review. 5 stars is wonderful. Also, tell your friends, do all that kind of shit. It's huge. Listen to our other 2 shows, Small Town Murder and Your Stupid Opinions as well, which are fucking hilarious. You should check those out. You should also head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Where you'll get all of everything, merchandise, tickets for live shows, you name it, it's there. Get in there and do that. Also, you definitely want Patreon. Actually, follow on social media at Crime in Sports. Patreon, patreon.com/Crime in Sports is where you get all the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above. So a cup of coffee.
It's very little. Yeah.
We're going to change everything for you. Give you hundreds of back, not your life. If you're a fuck up, you'll still be a fuck up. But you'll be a fuck up with hundreds of back episodes of bonus shit to listen to.
You'll have our voices in your ear while you continue to fuck up.
It might keep you out of trouble at least because you'll have shit to do. Yeah. And new episodes every other week, including this week, which you're going to get for Crime in Sports.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about the most inept teams of all time. Worst teams. Yeah. Teams, we've heard of undefeated teams. How about teams that haven't won at all?
What about the defeated teams?
We like to laugh at failure is what we're going to do here. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about the really weird points of the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell murder mess that goes on there. And their weird fucking beliefs and every other goddamn thing. Yeah. They fucking suck, those people. So there you go. Check that out. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports. And you also get a shout out, which is going to happen right fucking now. Jimmy, hit me with the names of the most wonderful people in the world who would never, ever make us shave off our mustaches.
This week's executive producers are Gary Howard, Laura Turner, and Taylor Areola. And her father, Stu Pedasso, James, if you can believe that. That's his name, Stu Pedasso.
Stu Pedasso and Areola, I'm sure, is the real name, too.
Taylor Areola, right, yeah. Great people.
Taylor Nipples.
Bastards. All right, Janice Hill and Liz Vasquez, thank you so much for everything you guys do. You're amazing. Other producers this week are Zeneb Benzura, Jason Milich, Dylan with no last name, Kelly Honan, Ezra Beamborn.
Is that the Swedish chef?
Ezra, yeah. Also, Jessica Tipple, Rob with no last name, Derek Higson, Irish Yankee, Cheddar 42, Mason Michelin, Adam and Evil, Marnice Willist, Karina Alonso, Rebecca Erickson, Funk Jew. All right.
Oh.
Funk Jew.
Funk Jew.
Daniel Di Pietro.
Hey.
Yeah. Jess Vickers, Chris Sutley, Vicky with no last name, Sherry Hubble, Paul Tormey, maybe, Not So Silent Bob, Brian with no last name, Samantha Connolly, Valeria Sigala Migueto, also Colton Migueto.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Valeria. That's a tough one. Caitlin Sharaski.
Sounds like
Shelley.
you got something.
Yeah, it's not good.
I got to get a shot for my Valeria, okay? Look. But thank you. Yeah. It's dripping all over the place.
Shelley Brevick, Crystal with no last name, Gravestones 2, Jay Gochik, Robin L. Neal, Hayden Delano, Kristen Bryant, Nor Beckwith, Pamela Pergerson, Kimberly H., Brooke McMillan, Matt Dirk, Kenny Martin, Andrew Fjurk, LMC, Kyle Moser, maybe Mosier, RB Jr., Gabrielle Mosier, Heath Peters, Masaki Blossom, Ted with no last name, Holly J., Cameron Garber, Sophia Palace, Rachel P., Katie Vanderwood, Hannah Sullivan, Katie Hoffney, Hogney, Katie, Jennifer Watts, Kay Sinclair, Victoria Worthen, Granny Rachel, Fell with no last name, Kim Bailey, Cat Parts, Pants. Oh, it's Cat Pants. Better than Cat Parts, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Although try to put pants on a cat, good luck. That's going to be hard.
It's not easy. Sam Cannon, Nathaniel Osment, Jessica Hoffler, Trent Hickson, Brittany Cornell, that's what it is. Tabitha Howard, Anthony with no last name, with a last name, that's what it is. Aiden Donahue maybe, Sick Boy 666, Rachel Papa. Maybe Popa. It's just 1P. Debbie Deluxe, Sue Johnson, Hunter C., Brad Sullivan, Gordon Duncan, Chris with no last name, Andrea Kirkendall, Jared Aldi, Teresa Pritchett, Dawn with no last name, Annika's Blog, Bethany Vume, Kate Logam, Michael Mandela, Becky Barriger, Avia Stone, Jamie, I like the shoes, Jeremy.
Like Richard Ramirez's shoes.
His favorite pairing with his
shoes.
pants. Hot Wife CPL on the coast. I don't know what that is. Della Nelson. Those hot wives, they're terrific. Jeremy with no last name. Anne-Marie Fitzgerald. Gemini Pantoja, Pantoja maybe. Chad Dotreve Malak. Dotreve, what a great name. That's cool. I love that name so much. It was a character on King of the Hill, right? Bill Dotreve. That's correct. Halen Roberts, Cage, maybe Cage, Tarley, Run Bun, Barbara Kavakova, Barbara Kavakova.
There we go.
It's just an O rather than A. Sarah O'Connell, Jordan Thews, Lynette with no last name, Rebecca with no last name, Amy Herndon, Gretchen Pilgreen, Siobhan O'Donovan, Bot Steve-O. Yeah, I guess so. Chrissy Wilson and all of our patrons. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you do for us. Honestly, you have you're wonderful, and we can't thank you enough for everything that you do for us. You keep the show floating. You fix shit. You make shit so some stuff doesn't need to be fixed. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. If you want to follow us on social media, very easy to do at shutupandgivememurder.com. Boom, pow. There you go. You can follow us. Keep doing that. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.